You know what I mean? Okay, we coming in clear. All right, all right. That's what I like to hear. How's everybody doing on this Melanin Monday, on this good Monday? Uh-huh. Y'all good? Okay, that's beautiful. Good to hear. Good to hear. So much going on. So many conversations taking place. I must have read about 20 think pieces this strong and alone. A lot of people are still having conversations about this situation with Uncle Mike. Let's just call him that. Let's just call him that. Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Has the world still talking? It will quit. I believe, my theory is they'll forget about it soon as the next distraction comes. You know, as soon as the next distraction comes, they will forget about all of this. This is one of those situations that people are just talking about because there's really not much else to talk about. Pardon me. No disrespect to the good brother. I stated before that I watched the fight, and I already know what was going on. I kind of knew what was going on before the fight even took place. Why? Because it was already stated on social media when the fight first got announced that this one was going to be kind of fugazi. You feel me? um it was already put out there that this was not going to be considered a real fight. And at the end of the day, I don't have my feelings are not caught up in that. I don't necessarily have no dog in that race. I'm not here to tell grown people what to do with their time, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Mike Tyson is a grown ass man and he could do whatever he wants to do. The people who have to really check themselves are the public, you know? It's not him, it's not Jake Paul. They could have been fighting to an empty stadium. You feel me? And Netflix people could have been watching Narcos 8 on Netflix instead of watching the fight, but they the ones decided to tap in. There's a deep lesson to be learned. We're gonna have that lesson, not tonight though. We're gonna have that lesson when we talk about what is known as the attention economy. Okay. What is known as the attention economy, because there's a lot of master classes that are taking place right in front of our eyes. You feel me? Right in front of our eyes. And people they it seems that they're focusing on mundane conversations and they're not focusing on real shit. Like what could we learn from this? They're not extracting you know um anything worthwhile in the terms of, can you teach me what it is that you learned? Is there something that we could learn? What is the learning? What is the lesson? Like how could we take that lesson and apply it? And a lot of people come up short when it comes to that. Yes, and King Simon famously said he even has a book that says no promotion is bad promotion. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody because we live in this day and age where people are so caught up on your opinion, like this groupthink type of mentality. You literally have to be a part of the groupthink, or people will start unfollowing you and getting in their feelings and whatnot because you don't align with how they're thinking. And let me just remind you of something. We'll never think the same because we are not the same. There's nothing wrong with that, but we'll never agree to everything. And you need to be cool with that. You feel me? And the people that you may be following and the people that give you that feel good shit, and they agree and you agree with every single thing that they say, well, you use them to stroke your ego, you know what I mean? But I'm used to opposing views. I had to really work on myself over the years to not get triggered by people with opposing views, because sometimes that shit would get me hot, you know? Um, that shit would get me hot, you know what I'm saying? And I be wanting to argue and whatnot. So I'm over that. You know what I'm saying? I'm past that. I'm good, because I'm not gonna let that shit get to me. I'm willing to listen to the objective and the subjective and learn from the opposing side. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have to agree. I like to hear I want to hear your mind. I want to hear your mentality. I want to know why you may see things the way that you may see things. You feel me? I literally want to know why you're standing on whatever side that you may be standing on. So, one of the greatest things that I could do to help my mental health, meaning that I want my mind to be healthy, I want my spirit to be healthy, I want all of these things to have a sense of health and whatnot. If I go to bed mad, if I go to bed with you on my mind and you not laying next to me, if I go to bed thinking about some shit that somebody tweeted and whatnot, you know what I mean? Blue, I sent you the link. Sent you a link in your email, and that's your entry point. Come on through, my good brother. Um, and if you don't see it in the email, let me know. But if I go to bed thinking about some shit a comment that you said earlier, these are like bots. I be arguing with bots and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, pray for me. I've argued with bots. You know what I mean? Like literally, until I found out how the bot shit works, because I started doing automations. And then I literally was like, oh my goodness, the whole time I'm in here arguing with an automation of AI. It's crazy. So imagine me getting caught up with an NPC. You know what I mean? It could be a human being, but imagine what an NPC may say, or AI, or somebody that what I mean, like has Bola or some nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, somebody that's literally tweeting from underneath a bridge. No disrespect to the people under the stairs, but no, we ain't doing it. So one of the great things about social media is it could tear you down, it could destroy you, or it could help build you up. It could help build up your defenses. It could help make you a stronger person mentally. It could help make you it could just make you a stronger person if you understand, if you could be able to walk through that fire and you're able to not let yourself be triggered by what other people think or how they see the world. Me personally, I have me and Mike Tyson, there's a different, my vantage point with Mike Tyson is different than the vantage point with somebody who never knew Mike Tyson, never met Mike Tyson, only knows about Mike Tyson through the media or through his fight reel or through this 1 minute greatest knockouts and whatnot. You're looking at Mike Tyson completely different than how I may be looking at Mike Tyson. You feel what I'm saying? So the way that I'm seeing him, I'm like the Mike Tyson that I know, he need the money. You feel me? He needs the money because he's a man that's about his money, right? He's such a doppelganger to Donald Trump that is kind of scary. You understand? He's such a doppelganger to the Trump archetype, right? What do you mean by that, Red? What I mean by that is these two dinosaurs of the 80s, right? These two cultural icons of the 80s and whatnot. They have more similarities than they have differences, if that means anything. Okay. They are about the bag, and they've been through what we may be called what I would just sum it up to life. You know what I'm saying? Not to sound all super duper deep and whatnot. I'll just sum it up to, yo, they've been through life. What you been through? You know what I mean? Because somebody will be like, they throw the word old head around a lot. You know what I mean? the word old head. These niggas is old heads. But to me, a older person is a person who is assumed to have more experience to somebody who doesn't have that experience because of the days less that they lived and whatnot. So when you're 70 and you're 80 and you're 60, you have way more life experience than the young whippersnappers that are at 18, 19, and 20 who cannot have, they don't have the foresight, not just the intellect, they don't have the foresight through experience to even sum certain things up. You don't have a vantage point. You don't have a bird's eye view. You know what I mean? No disrespect to your view, but you don't have the same type of view as somebody who been living this. You ready to come in, Blue? Just shake your head, yes or no. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me bring my guest for today's show in the building, the good brother, Blue Pillar 44. Peace.
Peace, man.
Peace to the God.
How you?
I'm great, brother. Thanks for asking, man.
Got you shadow banned on this thing,
I'm
man.
doing even better now. Huh?
They got you shadow banned on this thing.
What's this thing? Instagram or
Yeah, Instagram. Like you don't even show up live. I went live on my account because I ain't see you even in the. I ain't see you
not
in the
even in the
marketplace. And then they was like, "Yo, your brother's live," and I'm like, "What?" And I go over there, and you got whatever you got going on, and I'm like,
yeah, it'd be
"Yeah,
like that.
it'd be like that."
I'm gonna meet Mars. We're gonna have a meeting on Capitol Hill. Can you turn your camera horizontally? Is that possible? So it could be a wider camera. There we go. So I was just having this conversation. I was priming and prepping the audience about my continuous narrative, my narration about the Mike Tyson thing.
You
I
was
did a
ranting about going to sleep and nah.
what? Well, I said that I went to sleep after the seventh round. I turned everything off and went upstairs. And I said to myself, it was the same thing that I said when Donald Trump. I remember, were you up election night when the whole thing was going? They
Finish
had
your
people up.
narrative and then I'll interject.
Yeah. So I went to sleep and I said, I want to, I did a prayer. It's the timeline prayer. I said, when I wake up, I want to wake up to a certain timeline. You feel me? And if this timeline happens to be, that my dude got knocked out or he lost and whatnot, I'm cool with it. I'm letting it happen. So be it. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But I wasn't going to sit there and watch the whole thing go through, you know. So yeah, that's what happened.
So there's this thing, I guess, on election night, Spirit came to me. It was around like 6:37, and I wasn't in my phone all day. For the majority of the day, I wasn't really on my phone. And when I did look to the phone, it wasn't really showing a lot of results or even hypotheticals or what have you.
Yes.
It was just pretty lame when it came to information. So I just kept it that way. And the Spirit said to me, you have the opportunity to be amongst 1% of the people in this country, maybe on a planet, who are able to tap out without tapping in. I suggest that you take this opportunity, you feel me, and not
Yeah.
engage at all. And it was just like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you'll be up at 4 in the morning. And I remember last election, it wasn't decided the night of.
Right.
And you remember when they had woke up, they had to figure things out on a Wednesday.
Yep. I remember that.
So it was like, yeah, you're not missing nothing. The people gonna be hella emotional. They're gonna be on a roller coaster ride. And since I wasn't emotionally invested in it to begin with, I had no pony in the race. I just went to sleep. I went to sleep like seven something. And ironically, with this situation on Friday, I tried staying up. You know what I'm saying? And then look, ironically, because I was binging on Mr. McMahon.
What, Vince McMahon?
Yeah, I was
And
binging on Mr. McMahon leading up to, what I'm
pause. Is that
saying?
a Netflix special or something? You
It's
got to
on
preface
Netflix.
that.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
Netflix. So I had caught the McMahon joint, and I think I started binging on Martha. No, I don't think Martha was out yet. Anyways, I had knocked out and went to sleep, and my lady said I was snoring, like I was cutting timberwood or
Like,
something.
yeah, like you
But
was
it must
Hacksaw
have
Jim
been,
Duggan.
yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Spirit must have really, you know what I'm saying? They must have favored me that night because I missed the fight. I
Okay,
missed the fight, right?
you
And I
slept
got
through
up.
it.
I got up like five something, right? And then I was like, Spirit was like, don't even check it. I was like, why for why? It was like, don't even check it. You know what I mean? And I ain't check it. And then I think my lady woke up. I told her specifically, don't check it. And she checked it. I was
Don't
like, yo,
look.
whatever you do, don't tell me who
Whatever.
won this shit
Don't
because I want to
look.
see it again. And she went up,
Right.
she's like, oh shit.
That's not
Why?
what I heard. I heard check it.
I heard that.
Check it and tell me. I didn't.
That's what you was like, babe, don't check
I
it. She
missed
was
the
like, I
don't
heard you
part.
say check it and tell me because I don't want to see it.
So yeah, after that, I shrugged it. I was like, nah, son, I don't want to see it. So I'm one of those rare spirits on the planet. You know what I mean? I never seen George Floyd. I never seen R. Kelly. I never seen like the majority of them police shooting. I never seen none of that stuff.
Look, I didn't see Buster Douglas' whole fight in Hawaii with Mike. Me and you woke up to it. You was there. We was in Clinton Hill. I remember waking up and mom and them. I think even grandma was like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "What happened?" And I heard the name Mike Tyson, and I knew what it was. I did
Yeah,
not watch that fight.
I didn't see it. And then I was gonna write a whole narrative about the night of the Evander Holyfield fight. So we went to the lab, right? For the audience that's listening, it's a club in Bed-Stuy, right on Fulton Avenue.
Ain't a club no more. It's a whole building. It's a whole
Yeah, but when it
luxury
was,
building
right?
now.
Yeah, it was the lab. The lab was the spot. You know what I'm saying? And that night, it was the eeriest night ever. That I remember. The sky did something that I had never seen. It's like a portal open, but it was like the portal that when you got one of them sinks to be draining at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the bottom of the drain. It was just a bad portal. It was bad energy. It opened something, and somebody they made it. They was like, oh, that's the night that New York died in Atlanta. That's the night that New York took a L across the country in the eyes of a lot of people who felt that New York was invincible, and it turned a lot of tides. Like
It did. There's a few
it was
things.
a deal breaker on a lot of impasse. It was things that was on the fence that was still needed arbitration,
Right.
and when they seen that,
It died that night. Right. I remember clearly. Do you remember the Lennox Lewis, the night that he lost to Lennox Lewis?
remind me.
It just was one of those. It was the same type of energy. You remember Stacy, right?
Yeah,
So you know Stacy Jamaican, right?
yeah, Jamrock
So she invited me over to her crib. That's when she lived in that spot that was near the junction with
Avenue H. Yeah,
the
them high rises.
terraces. Yeah,
Yeah,
them, yeah. So,
had a fight party.
she had a fight party and she had her boo there. And that's ex boo right there. So you feel me? I'm at the fight party with an ex and her new boo. And I think they was both Jamaican. You feel me? A lot of curry, a lot of oxtails and curry was on the stove. It was mad food though. It was just, you know what I mean? But it was heavy Jamaican in that spot, yo.
And
You
they,
know what
they
I'm talking about?
turned
I thought
up.
I was in the
Yeah,
ark. Yeah, I thought I was in a damn ark. So I'm Team Tyson, and I'm assuming we all Team Tyson. You feel me? Not realizing even when I accepted the invite, I was walking into op territory.
you ain't know. Okay,
I did not know. I thought that we was finna have everybody was gonna have face tats. We was gonna be in there with the lisp, like, yes, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just gonna be Team Tyson. You know, pop a bottle, roll up. They had backwoods. You know what I'm saying? They had pre-rolls. That's
Brooklyn.
before I
Yeah.
even knew about a pre-roll. I was like, damn, blood already rolled up. Little shots of Henny and everything. Make a long story short, Mike got his ass whooped. From the minute he started getting his ass whooped, life just went into slow motion for me. Like, you know, usually the rounds, they gave a nigga a 2-minute round on this fight. Those rounds seemed like they was 8 minutes. And every time he would get dinged, I would look over and New Bay was looking at me like, yo, rude boy. This is what we doing to you, goddamn. I'm like, damn, yo, what we doing? Like, so by the time the fight was over, I was on the terrace, right, with the Henny, you know what I'm talking about, and the pre-roll burnt to the fingertips, super stressed. And I haven't gotten over that, yo. Traumatized to the umpteenth degree, B. I promise you. Big traumatized. I was in the lion's den getting bit.
Therapy.
Yeah. And Mike got slumped. He was getting slumped all over the place. I probably lost a few dollars on a bet. They didn't have Uber back then. I had to call a dollar cab with a bunch of Jamaicans talking about Mike got whooped out. I had to go past Newkirk and everything. It was heartbreaking. I was stressed.
Heartbreaking.
So there's still junk DNA that's still inside of me. That if I see Mike get whooped on, it comes back online.
It's activated. It's
It's
triggered.
activated. Fact. So it's like I haven't necessarily healed from all of these Mike defeats. You know what I'm talking about? Because people might not realize we were working with Mike Tyson back in the days. It's not just from a fan's perspective. Like me and Blue had business on the table with Iron Mike Entertainment.
Facts.
So yeah, we took that
81
personal.
Willoughby.
The pull up wasn't the same after that. We would go to the venues with the mic crew with the.
It wasn't hitting the same.
It wasn't hitting the same. You know what I'm saying? Before that, they was valeting the yo, come on, hold on, let me hold the door. You know what I'm saying? We had bottle sections.
It was
wasn't the same.
triple VIP.
Yeah.
Everywhere that we went, you know what I'm saying? Just riding off of riding with.
Just off the mic fumes, you know what I'm saying?
That Mike energy. Mike was different. He would show up. You know, he was the ultimate star, y'all. He was the ultimate, for lack of a better term, icon, you know. And
I would say Blue, he's the prototype of an age and an era, a stock and a pedigree that almost it's non-existent. I could compare him to only a few, but Donald Trump comes the closest in a sense.
so again, like I said, you know, my preparation for it, ironically, was looking at Mr. McMahon, and bar none, you know, what Mr. McMahon does as a biopic era piece is it kind of puts you in that frame, that mind and frame and reference that all of these individuals came from the same era.
Yes.
Vince McMahon, Mike Tyson,
Donald Trump.
You know what I'm saying?
Let the family know who may not been from that era. What era is this exactly?
Yeah, we speaking about the 80s. Hulk Hogan.
These are 80s icons.
Right? Sylvester Stallone. All these people is in play right now.
Schwarzenegger.
Right? Even Denzel.
Yes, Denzel.
Right?
It's an early draft. Yep.
All emerging from this era and this epoch. And almost every last one of them men's name that I mentioned got some sort of essay or other inappropriate allegations affiliated with their name to some degree or another. Mike set it off. You know what I'm saying? They locked the champ up. Even with my hands, brains is in handcuffs, headed for Indiana, standing with me like a phantom.
They locked the champ up. Yeah, him and Tyson went down with the Dirty D charge. They were some of the first ones to fall for the persecuted phallus back then. And it's been dominoes since.
So yeah, Mike was the first one. Mike went before Tupac. Mike went before everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It was the first time you kind of heard about that. He was like, Wait, what happened? They did what?
Huh? He did what?
And you know, think about Donald Trump and his cabinet thus far. It's like you gotta
The
have
war
an
hawk,
essay, huh?
the war hawks that he got.
You gotta have an essay charge to be on his cabinet, to be on his front line. You got
Yo, family. The district attorney, no, the attorney general, the AG, that Donald Trump picked, Matt Gaetz.
yeah,
If y'all don't know about Matt Gaetz in Florida,
yeah.
please do your
They probably don't. You know, people that's
right.
not
They probably
politically
don't.
astute, they don't keep up on these people. Um, and again, it's just being in news, being a reporter, just being around a block. You
Burdock
know who
asked,
these you know
right.
who these people are without even trying. You've seen these stories, you're very familiar. If you're politically astute at all in the news, you know who all of these names are when they're popping up, and you're like, damn, this nigga's going extreme.
He
But
got the Suicide Squad with him.
you got the Suicide Squad. So it's again, him courtside at UFC's, you know what I'm saying? And again, coincidentally, with Gladiator 2 coming out, this is the Roman Coliseum all over again. You know what I'm saying? And this is how the emperors show up. Um, and it's the same hedonistic energy that comes with that hegemonic empirical conquesting psychology that these men possess. So imagine them looking at one another like, oh, you got that off? Yeah, I got that off. Oh, you got that off? Yeah, I got. So Bill
Right.
Clinton is from this era. Jeffrey's from this era.
OJ.
Harvey's from this era. OJ's from this
Somebody brought up
era.
was OJ before Mike. Could somebody do the Googles?
In
OJ
terms
is
of
92 in terms of the case.
charge,
Yeah, the
yeah, Mike
charge.
set it off.
Mike set it off, right?
Mike set it off. I think Mike was
Mm.
91. OJ might have been, OJ was after the riots. The riots was in 92. OJ was like 93, 94, from what I
Tupac
recall.
was 94.
Tupac was after, yeah.
Well,
Tupac was
Tupac was getting locked. He was catching
definitely after
cases.
Mike, huh?
Yeah. Tupac was getting cased up for like 2 or 3 years straight. But the big
And,
one that
and
took him down was the rape case.
right. And this is again, all of these people are tethered to one another because they're all concentric circles interlock with one another in their circles, in their ciphers. Quincy Jones,
Right.
and I'm just throwing names out that, let's look at the 80s and who was the players on the board at that time. You know what I'm saying? Who was knocking them down? Who scurried and scammered, across the finish line with all of these bodies attached to them. And yeah, and the redemptive quality of it all is that if these men persisted through so much persecution to get to this place, you can make it to where now you're emperor
Right.
and you're an untouchable. You know what I'm saying? And you Teflon for real. And yeah, and Homely is building out a felon first administration. Like you gotta have buttons on your belt. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be with the shits.
Right. You gotta be with the shits. It's my theory that I put it out there that we are in the villain era.
Mhm.
And you brought up the anti-hero, and I was like, it's a little darker than an anti-hero from the looks of things. Did you get to catch Penguin?
I started it. Yeah.
How you like it?
It was cool.
Okay. I
It
haven't
was cool,
started
but
yet.
yeah, same thing. Like I said, I know what era that we're in. I've been called it. Um, and again, all of the players are on the board right now. All of the players are active.
Right.
We're in the anti-hero era. You know what I'm saying?
It's
The
been
hero,
said.
the hero is the anti-hero, huh?
Right. That's why I'm interested in Gladiator. I want to see the angle in which, I know that Denzel is a villain, I
Yeah,
believe.
Denzel is a villain.
Yeah, he's a villain in this one. I just want to see the angle in which, they released it overseas. It did great, I heard. And it's
Yeah,
coming here to
he's definitely a Moorish villain. I read the interview. with Ridley Scott, and he was
Okay.
explaining, where he got his character from. He said he was inspired by the Moorish painting, right, with the melanated Moor,
Right. The one
heavily
standing
melanated
up.
Moor who was standing up with the scimitar.
Yes.
Um, yeah, he said he comes from that. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm,
but he's a bisexual, um, arms dealer or trader or what have you.
right. When in Rome.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever he is, they got him. They got him in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And yeah, so the era of the icon is over. They're tearing down all of the wallpaper. Anybody that you had on your word up wall. You know what I'm saying? They're tearing that down.
Yeah, that shit is gone.
Um, and amazingly, like I said, these men of prestige and power, you know, they all have crossed the finish line, and they all seem to have that thing in common. They got to have that button on their belt. You know,
Right. And it seems like this old guard is tapping the new guard, the Elons of the world. Peter Thiel is out there, but he's in the shadows. You don't see him, but he's
mhm.
definitely, if you go and look at what Palantir is doing on the stock market, JD Vance is Peter Thiel. That's who backed him. That's his man.
That's his man.
Yeah, he's the one. And so that's why Palantir is going crazy on the stock market. But him and Elon are back together underneath this administration. It's interesting, Blue, that I was just at the Atlanta Street where convention yesterday. Huge convention for all of the young designers and whatnot, melanated designers. They come from
Mhm.
around the globe. I seen somebody, one of the designers who used to be at Cavs was there displaying his works. So just based off of what I saw yesterday with the fashion and everything, there's a revival of the 90s, right? Nostalgia is big. They,
Yes.
they, they wearing them baggy. Remember you used to wear size 36 Blue and you was a 31 waist?
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember you used to fit like 3 days of dinner down your leg when we was in Pathmark with the baggy jeans and stuff?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We used to wear the baggy. So they wearing the baggy clothes. Yusef, the guard, what up, man? You feel me? Remember Yusef from Flatbush? He in the chat.
Oh, what's good, you sir?
What up, my guy? So there's a nostalgia back. The 90s is back. And you brought up the fact that, these figures from the 90s, these prominent figures from the 90s, they're still at play. They haven't faded away into obscurity and whatnot. Trump is the president. He's back. What I mean? Mike Tyson is heavy in the news. All of these icons from that iconic era are still at play. Rudy is running around couch surfing. You know what I'm talking about? He's broken shit. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that they say that time is centrifugal, that it moves in cycles. Do you feel like this is a result of that?
Absolutely. I think there's some Saturnian placements that might be bringing this particular cycle back. Um, but yeah, it's the ending of an era and the beginning of a new one. So I'm just definitely watching the cycles, and I'm seeing the way that this stuff is strategically playing itself out. Like you said, the ones that have not gone into obscurity, right? Whose final acts remain to be written, is just very interesting. That these individuals are still with us, and they're
Right.
still putting narratives together, and all of this is wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
again, when you watch that documentary and they speak to you about the importance of putting on the show and entertainment, the reason why Trump was front row at WrestleMania, the reason why Trump and McMahon, have a lot in common is that they know how to put on a big show, and they know how to captivate an audience. They know how to play to the crowd, and they know how to create character.
And
Trump is
perfected it.
he's fully in character. You know what I'm saying? And Yeah, it's just a wrestling administration. You feel me? They get to play political theater at its highest level, and the people are here for it. You know, what better way to but to play to the audience and they're playing back. You know what I'm saying?
I would even go as far as to say that Donald Trump learned from the best of them. Vince McMahon brought Trump into quote unquote the entertainment side of things. He still was Trump, he still existed, but he was embraced by Vince McMahon in the earlier days of WWE, WWF. He was introduced to that audience, millions upon millions of impressionable teenagers and young adults and whatnot. They've grown up with him. They are one of the main reasons why the country is red and whatnot. The showmanship of WWE, the fake wrestling, it's continuing on and on. I believe that it showed up in politics. It's what we see. It's Trump's version of politics is a political wrestling match.
Hold
You
on,
know,
yeah.
We in idiocracy. I always say reality
facts.
is turning into idiocracy. Remember, the president was the wrestler. Terry
Terry Crews,
Crews,
right?
his character was he was an old wrestler that became the president.
Mm.
Facts.
And remember, everything was determined off the gladiator showdown. Remember, because the guy from the
Ah,
future or from the past, because they couldn't grow their plants anymore because they was using Gatorade instead of water, and everybody
right.
thought he was so smart, and they hated him for being so smart. They put him in the ring, and was like, if you could beat this person, because it was gladiator style, they had to fight to the death.
That's right.
So Gladiator 2 is back. Is going to do its thing in the box office, right? Because of the early indications of what it's done overseas. It's going to be a smash. I mean, Denzel is in it. What else is there? You know what I'm talking about? They're going to leak the video of Denzel, you know, kissing the dude on the lips because he got in front of it and was like, yeah, I did that. You know, what up? You know what I mean? But they're going to leak, you know, that's going to leak. Wow, great analysis. Great
Yeah.
analysis. It's even
Y'all
gonna make
seen y'all seen the melanated man's bosom. No,
His ass.
his
his
glute.
art,
Yeah, right. Yeah, not his glutes,
That
right?
nigga
his
was in there like
glutes.
Rakishi.
Yeah.
Well, you know, on the Taurus full moon, Blue, right? I just went to the farm a few weeks ago and we were feeding the ox, right? We were feeding the ox, and the ox had snot running out of its nose. You know, it turned around. It was you know, full, you know, it didn't have on no you know what I'm talking about? You know,
Mhm.
it was showing cheeks, you know. The charging of the bull. Mike was looking like a injured bull in that ring. Okay. You know, the run of the bulls and whatnot, because he's in there fighting against a crusader. You know, Jake Paul is a part of this, and I don't want to get so far ahead of myself, but Jake Paul, if we're looking at it as the gladiator, look through it as the lens, look through it through the lens of gladiator, look through it through the lens of this new administration, which is a Christian nationalist administration. It's
The
just starting
Crusaders.
at, huh?
The Crusaders.
It's the
Be very clear.
Crusaders, right? Even John Jones, right? Who redeemed, quote unquote, the black man after the humiliation of Mike Tyson on the night of that full moon, the next night at the UFC, which, in my humble opinion, is the new standard that boxing used to be. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Boxing is
It's the
now.
it's
Mhm.
a synthesis between wrestling and boxing. Because you don't hear about too many matches getting thrown. You know what I'm saying? It's the actual combat sport. You know, this is where the true gladiator gets to flourish.
Right. Right. So what Floyd Mayweather was in terms of his promotions of his boxing, right? Even though he began to take it into the arena of quote unquote wrestling when he started doing those
Exhibition.
exhibitions and
Right.
fighting dudes from Japan and shit like that. And you know, he kind of like he softened up the image of boxing to be this, you know, this straightforward type of sport, right? Jake Paul comes in and he's more like like Metagasm said, he is definitely more like the Vince McMahon on the promo side because he understands the internet. Remember, he's like a Kai Cenat in terms of the quote unquote mastery of the trolls and the internet and this new streaming evolution and whatnot, right? So
Right.
he's part of that new class, but he's a
Emotions, right.
crusader, right? He's a crusader. And what we're seeing in media and in the public right now, it's because of the age that we're in, family. We have to look at things through that lens, right? In order to truly see things for what they are. There's a lot of people who may not identify with the Moors, but I want you to be able to identify with the Moors of antiquity and the archetype and what they mean, right? In this quote unquote geopolitical world that we're in right now. Um, the Crusaders against the Moors. So that's what's going to be at play for the next 4 years. They're definitely going to push that narrative in ways that we've probably never seen, on this timeline in the last few hundred years. This is the time for them to go super hard with it. And it's not just a local thing, it's a global thing by way of Steve Bannon, and all of the nationalist far right movements that have sprouted up all around Europe and other places, South America, Latin America, over the past decade and whatnot. But Stephen Bannon has his fingerprints on all of those movements. And by way of, because Trump can't meet with everybody face on, he'll send Steve and other people to do his biddings and whatnot. And remember, this is a cultural war, ideological war. Trump is the front man. Trump is the power player. He's the strong man. He's the one, you know what I mean? But he has an army that is behind him that are fighting multiple wars on multiple fronts. So all of these executive orders, all of that stuff that he's up there, having people retweeting and giving and all in my inbox like, did you hear what Trump said? I'm like, fam, y'all drinking the Kool-Aid real early. Like, y'all ain't even giving it no time, huh? Y'all on Trump, y'all on this wagon immediately. So,
I mean, it's an upswing, and yeah, it's an upswing, right? So, what do? You don't allow the momentum to wane. You ride the wave. I'm speaking about as per his supporters and the people that are championing his cause. Like Stallone said, they got a mythical figure. So you roll the dice with that. You go all the way in. You know what I'm saying? You attempt the best as you can to push the opposition into submission.
right,
Because it's two administrations simultaneously running at the same time. Feel me?
right. Did you
But
see where the brother gave Trump the belt and
I,
then
I,
bowed the knee
I
and
read about it. Yeah, I read about it.
okay, John Jones. But then he said in his acceptance speech that he's a Christian, he's a warrior for Christ. You know what I mean? He proudly,
Absolutely.
yes.
And I told you this. I told you this last year, and I reiterated it this year with the very visible L's. I was like, look at Christian nationalism is one thing, but the people who have mounted their horse and used Christianity as a shield to go to war culturally, right? Even right here in hip hop,
Yes.
I said, look at their victories. Look how they mounted themselves. Look at Ryan Garcia earlier this year,
Definitely
right?
Ryan Garcia early. Yes, yes.
Regardless of how people paint what the outcome was and whether he cheated or not, we talking about notches on the belt. We're speaking about people identifying themselves clearly as Christian crusaders and going up against infidels and winning
Right.
in the name of Christ,
In the name of Christ.
right?
Yeah.
And then you got a whole, and then they created their own Christ and christened him, and he was able to survive persecution and execution. This dude is a
Exemplary life.
mythical, yeah, he's a mythical creature and figure in their movement, and they're gonna proselytize and use his life force to finalize and finish this crusade. And it's an opportunity that they've never had before at a time when melanated masculinity is waning and there's a clear and present, not only a gender war,
Delineation.
identity crisis, gender confusion, and severe brand damage. The brand of blackness has a black eye, and now it has black eye for both eyes. The month of November has not been friendly to the brand of blackness. We It's compromised, and possibly it's for sale, and it's been sold out, and that always puts us in a precarious situation when we put all our eggs in one basket in the form of an icon,
Right.
right? When the icon is at the forefront for the race or the people or the brand, and there's no brand affiliation, there's no
Brand loyalty.
brand loyalty.
Because Mike Tyson put it clear that he's not loyal to what y'all call the black brand. He doesn't fuck with that. He doesn't care about that brand. He doesn't ride for that brand. He is a avid Trump supporter. Okay. He is an avid Trump supporter. He's a MAGA. He's not with that black power shit. You can't convince him of it. He's not with none of that. You know what I mean? He's like a shack. He's
Yeah,
impervious to all of that.
he's a Roman sympathizer,
He is a Roman sympathizer. He
even as a
loves Rome.
Muslim.
Huh?
Even as a Muslim.
Even as a Muslim. And he publicly stated that he does not care about legacy. So what he meant by that is that the fact that you cannot hold him to, he's not beholden to this quote unquote black anchor that black people are holding each other to about legacy. He said to himself, well, if it was about legacy, what about Michael Jackson with Blanket and these niggas in Paris and all of them? They took the mama to court. What about the fact that people in Prince's family is coming up dead? What about the fact that James Brown is not mentioned honorably? What about the fact that Whitney Houston's whole family went, when she went, and Ray J is running around? What about the fact that they're on Vlad TV talking about they shot Tupac and bodied them, and everybody that said that they loved them and whatnot ain't doing nothing? What about the fact that Brick Baby and all of them and Whack 100 is clowning Nipsey, and he's freshly, and no, don't talk to me about legacy, because I don't trust the people that I'm leaving behind to protect my legacy. I don't have to speculate. It's written in stone that this generation, maybe before, but not this generation, the only people that's really doing something is the drillers, who's respecting the dead, but by disrespecting other dead people. But they putting their life on the line for somebody that they quote unquote loved and whatnot, and they like, yo, nah, we not letting that die out. We gonna ride to the end. Other than that, I don't see people upholding legacy in black culture at all, and let alone in American culture, but definitely not in no black culture.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, with knowing all of this, Blue, what is your percentage? What would you say on a 1 to 10 scale that Mike Tyson agreed to take a dive in this bout?
Yeah, that's a hypothetical. I can't roll the dice and say yay or nay. I didn't see the fight, you know what I'm
Give me a
saying?
number.
And no,
Oh, you didn't see the
that's
fight.
nasty work. Yeah, I'm not getting into a guessing game to hypothetically, assume or put my thoughts on something. I don't have nothing verifiable to go on other than my feelings, and my feelings don't matter in this.
Right.
Um,
Were
so
you
that
aware
has
that he almost died?
when in the fight.
No, he almost died in June. He had
Yeah,
8
yeah. He had a
blood
health scare.
transfusion. He had blood clots because, and he also took the
The
Jabberwock.
Abington, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but this is we ain't here for Monday night quarterbacking. Nobody's making no excuse for the man. He could fall back on his age. He could fall back on. There's a lot of things we could fall back on. It didn't happen. he didn't pull it off. From what I heard, it was very despicable sight to see.
Right.
It left a lot of people in question, but the last 4 or 5 Tyson fights have left me in question. So the question continues. Um, Sparring looks totally different than actually being in the skirmish. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like,
yeah, he was.
these are
Yeah,
just
you
things
can't
that
play the
people need to
sparring
walk
clip.
away with. Yeah, like
What that got
these
to
are
do
just
with anything?
lessons. But who knows?
You said he may fight again. Where? Well, nobody's watching that. What are you talking about? He
Yeah,
may
like
fight. It's over.
I hope they wasn't trying to bake that in like that. If they wanted to
Nah, they
get
wasn't trying to bake that
bread
in.
on a comeback, they'd have had him win and let Jake, you know what I'm saying, get the rematch. But yeah, it's a wrap for him. It probably should have been a wrap a long time ago. But once again, the universe is showing us that you cannot tether yourself to nobody else's legacy, nobody else's, drive and their upswing, unless that person is Trump. But you niggas, you have no saviors. Yeah, there's nobody that's done do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody seems to be in error. This whole shit needs a rebranding, and nobody's qualified.
Right. I would tell anybody in the audience that did not see the fight, you're not missing anything. I probably would. I would skip over that. You don't have to see everything in life. You don't have to be the observer. You don't have to intake everything and put it in your subconscious. Everything is not for you. Look, in
Yeah,
my
everything is
mind,
not to be consumed.
right. In my mind, there's an alternative universe where I woke up and he knocked the boy out. And everybody they got their FanDuel money. Melanated people was able to talk shit and honk horns and whatnot. And the old heads was feeling tough again. That's just there's an alternative universe where that exists, but not in this one that we are all in right now. And I'm good with that, and I'm cool with that. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So, again, it beckons, it leaves us back, back to square one, right? Family, you got to be super duper prepared for whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to train like you training for a championship bout because there's nobody else is coming to save you. And if you are a brand loyalist, if you have brand allegiance to the brand of blackness, you got to know that it's definitely going to be challenged going forward. And
Yeah.
don't be in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stand on your business. And there's something about you that has to resonate, not me, right? Because they're gonna play with the brand. The brand has shown itself susceptible to ridicule and folly and playfulness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not a good look, especially now when there's such a surge of white nationalism, and it almost seems like a very intentional move to put certain players in power to make it look like, if they did decide to make a play, whew, you kind of
I
see how.
mean, the fear factor that used to exist, you know, we know that it's not there anymore, right? The intimidation that dudes from the 90s and the 80s, the what I mean, the real niggas is what they call them. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we was at New Utrecht and Sharif and them was fighting the Italians, knuckle to knuckle. They was 17-year-olds knocking out 30-year-old white boys and everything.
Yeah,
That pedigree, that stock,
yeah, they gone.
is gone. It's not here. The culture war that these Europeans are talking about so adamantly, especially in places like Florida and all over the Rumble, the far right, everywhere where you find them at, they're talking about the culture war, and they're using the depiction of the emasculated black man and the emasculated white man and the feminazi and whatnot as the liberal left, and then they're showing them on the right. You know what I mean? Like this group of Avengers. You know, they got RFK with the shirt off. You know, it's bro culture, right?
Yeah,
Smash Bros, Bang Bros, Passport Bros, Podcast Bros. It's bro culture. I hearken to the movie The Boys or the TV show. Did you watch The Boys?
Mhm.
yeah. I watched the boys. I mean, I didn't catch the last season, but
Oh nah, you gotta watch. The
yeah.
last season was all about Trump with Homelander. But you know, The Boys is a play on the bros. And you know, this whole bro culture, this whole culture war that we see going on. Joe Rogan and them is part of that. You know, it has the it has the potential to turn into a physical war one day. You know what I'm talking about? Because they do have a lot of vitriol, and they do have that, you know, they're building up a lot of vitriol on that side, you know, and we see the liberal left is triggered as well. So it's kind of like a perfect storm. Before I even bring that up, did you see the two women that were fighting? They were the main event before the Tyson fight.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the women were scheduled to fight. I didn't see no fights.
Okay.
So I heard they got jerked.
That's the fight that I would watch.
Yeah.
Just to remind yourself of what A.A. Rashid pointed out in the book that he wrote on 9/11, that war is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And these two women were going to war. They were going to war. They were scrapping more than the men were scrapping in terms of warfare. Like it was straight warfare. It wasn't all of that, you know, they hugging up, you know what I mean? All of that shit that they was doing. The women were in a war
Mm-hmm.
to the point where Shorty had a gash over her eye that, you know, it like a purse. I'm dead
Yeah.
ass. A shit like a purse. Like you could put some bread in there. You know what I mean? And she was still going.
She's still going. Yeah.
Still, and she got jerked. She was still going. They was scrapping.
Yeah, scrapping. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going on with my IG? Oh, we an hour in, so the IG cut. Damn. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. But yeah, they were going at it viciously.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So yeah, what's your thoughts about that?
What about what?
Just women going at it.
I've been told you again, based on my observations. I'm in the gym. I'm in these places. You know what I'm saying? I've been
You
told you
didn't you told me, but we talking to 600 people, fam. You gotta tell them.
the women is on a whole nother level in regards to their level of preparation. What
Yes.
I'm witnessing in terms of them tapping in and zoning out, they look like they're prepping for war. You know what I'm saying? They're war ready. They got
Mm.
different energy on them. They got a different look in their eyes. They have a different determination. Their dedication is bulletproof. Like these women are in the gym before we get there, and they're in the gym after we leave, and they're consistent. They're the most consistent beings in the gym. You know what I'm saying?
I see
And
that at LA Fitness too.
they're you know, you don't get sloppy reps out of them. Their attention to detail is unprecedented and profound.
Like form and everything,
Their
right? Their
form,
form.
yes, what they compensate for what they don't have in strength with form. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
at least the ones that I'm bearing witness to, that I'm seeing, they're very strategic, they're very focused, they're very determined. So yeah, I would imagine if they was to lock horns, it's gonna look different because they're really training and they got a different type of fire that's burning in them. And you know, I don't want to come across and start sounding like a liberal or anything, but and I don't want to sound like, you know, I got a red hat on either. But it's like you kind of have, you be like, if women have subconsciously figured out that men is not going to be there for them, right? There's going
Right.
to be no rescue attempts, and that might even be the opt. How they going to train? What is it going to look like? That's what I see. I see women that are trained up that they know they're going into very hostile admin. You know what I mean? And they cannot be dependent on men to swoop in and be their safety net. So their level of determination speaks to, the fact that they have decided for themselves that they want to survive whatever's coming, whatever's ahead of them.
And we're
Mm.
emotional beings.
Oh yeah, let the
We're
women speak for
chaotic.
themselves.
We're chaos beings. We're emotional beings. We feel first. So we want to make you feel what we feel while y'all busy strategizing. We
Right.
like, nah, you got to feel this shit. So for us,
Right.
that's why you see this whole baddies movement with the show. I don't watch it, but I see clips
They scrapping
and they scrapping. And I
off
mean
the
tearing
gate.
each other up, like busting teeth out. Like,
Blue,
Hmm?
do you remember? And I've brought this up too, and I'm still traumatized. But do you remember when we got introduced to the viciousness of, women scrapping?
What, like with tennis court in them and
No, through our sister Nakiba in Harlem.
not
oh,
Nakiba.
at the
Nakiba
pool?
throwing down.
She's my sister's dark skin.
Not them
And
Mm.
Gullah Geechee hands, boy.
Oh
you
yeah.
feel me? She got that
Woo,
Gullah Geechee. My sister has Gullah Geechee. Her father, Jacob, straight Gullah
woo.
Geechee. You know what I mean? Like that's all in her blood. She's a
Throwing them out.
warrior,
Yeah.
and she was fighting. I'm talking about bare knuckle fighting when we were like 7 and 8 back in the days, type shit. Like she was
Mm.
getting down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We
Scrapping.
was traumatized. It's like, what the hell? You know what I'm talking about? Like, we didn't know that women was so vicious with it. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
know that what it looked like when it happened.
It popped off. Yeah. It was like, oh
Popped
shit.
off. It would pop off quicker than it would pop off with the men. Like, a few
Pop.
Yep.
words was said, and then
But that's why men don't want women in those positions because we could fuck some shit up just because, like, off our emotion, like, just straight up, nah, they gotta feel this as opposed to y'all want to strategize what's gonna be the best way to do this, what's the logical way so we're not putting more shit in the trouble. We don't give a fuck. We would
burn
be
it
like,
down type shit.
let's just get it out the way now because you feel it as a woman. Like I said, we emotional, so we feel things, as opposed to you may feel things as well, but you're gonna try to logically do some shit. That's why when you're looking at the young dudes who just they go off when you make them feel a certain type of way, they call them feminine because you're not utilizing your mind or your mentality or your logic or your intellect to move appropriately. You going off of how you feel.
Moving with emotions, right?
Exactly.
You're not being
How we are.
logical.
If
You're
you
not
scrapping another
Rational.
female,
Right. No
she gotta
rationality.
really feel it. Like I'm doing everything. I'm pulling her hair out. I'm cutting her face up. I don't care. Like she gotta feel it. You feel me? Same thing with y'all. Your woman coming at you. If you got one of them women that throw them hands, she gonna make sure you feel that shit. Cause again, you stronger than her. But this is her
right.
feeling is what she got. And that's why you guys' job is so important is to be in our guides and our guards and our protectors and our providers because you are the one that's responsible for this chaotic energy. So you have to, yeah, that's the job, nigga. Like that's why Shiva got that damn trident, because the only motherfucker that can stop Kali from cutting
Right.
motherfuckers up is Shiva. That's the only
Right.
motherfucker that can stop her.
To be like, let
She's
me
gonna
rub
keep
your feet,
going.
ma. Yeah, hold
Yep.
on. Let me rub your feet.
Hold up, bitch, it's
Let me
me.
sit
Hold
you.
on,
Hold
it's
Yeah,
on.
it's me. Let me
me.
do your head.
Same way
Yeah,
they
hold
said
on.
Sekhmet, right?
Yeah, it's the
Sekhmet
same
was
thing.
drunk on the blood.
Yeah,
Hold
Get you
on,
something to
babe.
eat.
Hold on.
but they
It's
say
me.
hell has no fury like a woman scorned, because you gonna feel it. You gonna feel
Yeah,
this
so
shit.
that's the feminine side of the tree of life in Kabbalah. The left hand path, matter of fact,
That's
that
that
holds the
laugh.
arrows when you flip your dollar bill over and you see that good eagle, that scorpionic energy, which is feminine in principle,
Right.
right? The left side of it has the
Holding the
arrows, which
talons. Right.
is about warfare. The other side has the olives, because the masculine side is supposed to be about diplomacy, y'all. right?
Right.
Diplomacy. But the
Right.
other side got arrows because it's about warfare.
We've been hoodwinked to believe that it's all that war is a patriarchal thing. That's something that only men do, and that the women were the negotiators and they were the peacekeepers. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that's how the West. That's how the West teaches us.
right. But that's false, right? It's the other way around. And
That's
yeah, you know, like you
they was
said,
going in with
interesting.
that fight, bro.
That
Promise
fight,
you,
yeah, I checked that one out.
they was
Um,
scrapping.
I'm gonna check that one out. But yeah, these
What do you feel
systems
about
that
this picture right here, Blue?
I mean,
Hmm?
again, what are you asking me? Does it elicit an emotion? It looks
No,
like the dualistic black eyes that the brand of blackness took during the month of November.
right. Because I know some men that talk to me, they confided in me personally. It was like, yeah, man, I ain't feel shit when Kamala lost, but when Mike lost, I felt that in my core. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit hurt me, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? To
again,
see the legend.
Kamala's not identified. Again, let's go here with it, right? Let's get a
Yeah.
little metaphysical because it was a full moon in Taurus. Mike is a Cancer, right?
Yes.
Cancerian. Cancer is the moon. They said that if melanated people, right, were assigned, we would be Cancer,
Yes.
right? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. The emotionalism, the fact that Cancer represents water, right? So diasporically, we're separated by the Atlantic Ocean. Whether you believe that you are from here or you come from the continent, that Atlantic Ocean is your buffer zone, and also connected to the mother, where people who are tethered to our relationships with our umis, right?
Yes.
So with all that being said, yeah, melanated people, right, are more feminine than they are masculine because of how they feel, their propensity to feel. If we are sentient beings and you are enraptured in the carbon-based suit and mainly, your skin receptors, you're feeling based on your skin receptors, as Dr. Bruce Lipton taught. These are the things that change your DNA by way of epigenetics. You have the propensity to feel more. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's what people are feeling. They are tethered to the brand, and we celebrate, one another's success and our losses, but more so we feel our losses even more impactfully. Because we were looking, right, categorically as a people, as a society, we was looking for Mike to win so we can ride that. We could
That
ride that
energy.
W. We could
I'm
ride
trying
that
to tell
energy,
you. It
right?
was
We
it
could
was
rev it up.
it
And
was the
and,
perfect
and
storm, Blue. It was the perfect storm. We got Pluto going into Aquarius. We got the full moon in Cancer. You feel me? Like it was just right. It
Saturn was
was
coming out of retrograde,
Saturn coming out
Pisces.
of retrograde.
out of retrograde in
No, matter of fact,
Pisces.
Saturn in Aquarius. I'm sorry.
No,
Saturn's in Pisces, Pluto's in Aquarius.
Pluto's in
Pluto in
Aquarius
Aquarius.
starting
Yes.
tomorrow, right?
Right.
Saturn in Pisces,
Yeah,
Saturn
Saturn
in
went
right.
direct.
right?
Yeah.
Went direct. So yeah, it's a lot going on cosmically, and as a people, once again, identified with a brand. They needed this. They needed a W, but they got another L. Um, and yeah, the brand is in peril. You feel me?
They say John
Because
Jones brought him back the next night though with that damn kick
yeah, but again, he's a Christian crusader, an all-American Christian crusader.
with a
So
pink
it,
toe.
it goes back to the identity, right? Our people have an identity crisis. Who are you? Where are you? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And yeah, who, how did you show up? Like, who are you? What does it all mean? You feel me? And people are going to be scrambling to attempt to figure that out. There's going to be a contingency that are going to, tap in and veer into patriotism and hopefully I, carve out their own definition of what American is in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? But this is an unprecedented time. This is a make it or break it moment because they're taking black studies out of the schools. So now it's incumbent upon the platforms and the households to tell their own narrative to reach our
Yes.
people. You better figure it out. You better figure it out quick because there's gonna be so many, internal infighting for identity. Who are we? How are we gonna identify who we are? How are we gonna teach that? What means of distribution do we have to get this information out?
Facts.
And once again, we find ourselves in a wonderful position because we prepared for this. So, we'll let the people know we got a lecture coming up on the 22nd.
Yes.
And
Let's get a
before
word from
this,
our sponsors real
yeah,
quick. Let's go to the word of our sponsors real quick, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
All right, all right, all right. All right, we live now. We live now. Peace to the family out there.
That ain't it. Ladies and gentlemen, on Friday, right? This Friday coming up, me and Blue Pill are doing our last lecture of the year entitled Solar Cycle 25 Rise of the Super Sapiens. Okay. And we're going to be doing a super duper deep dive on everything that's going on right now leading up to this quote unquote solar cycle that we're entering into. Brother Blue just released a book. Okay. He just released a book to help you on your health journey, your fitness journey. Okay. And we're going to be talking about the solar cycle 25, but we're also going to be building on the rise of the super sapiens. Mike Tyson can't save you. You're going to have to save yourself. But going into this next 4 years, we're gonna know. We don't have to learn. We're gonna have to know how to tap into this dormant force, these powers that are being activated in melanated people all across this planet and whatnot. So on Friday, on the 22nd at 8 p.m., only on Zoom, me and Blue will be pulling up. The link is going to be in the bio. We have bundle deals. This bundle deal that we have, you will be getting yourself a t-shirt, hopefully along with a book for this ticket. And then we also have regular tickets. So, you could also come up in there. But Solar Cycle 25, Rise of the Super Sapiens this Friday. Please make sure you in the building. Don't miss that one right there.
yeah, please do not miss that. We ain't dealing with Project 2025. We're dealing with 2025 projections.
Not Project 2025, Solar Cycle 25.
Right.
You feel
So,
me?
what do we have to do to get ready and stay ready? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what are the plans of preparation, right? And what's the vision going forward for the future? We have amazing opportunities. So I'm ecstatic about it. You feel me? I look forward to it. This is the best environment that it can possibly be to actually get some things done in real time. You
It
know what I mean?
definitely is. It definitely is, Um, continue.
Yeah, yeah. We we ready. You feel me? We're ready, and we have the opportunity to even tighten that up even more heading into 2025. And we want to share that with you. We want to lay out to you what we've been working on for pure control, power, and ownership moving into 2025. You feel me? It ain't got to be how they paying it to be. Don't buy into that narrative. This is the era of autonomy for you to create your own story and to actually live in it in real time. So that's what we look forward to sharing,
Yes, yes,
sharing
yes.
and Karen. And yeah, I've been prepping, speaking about Solar Cycle 2025 since 2020.
I remember you was
Corona
you
Rising,
Rona
I've been
right.
adamant about it. I've almost been borderline zealotry.
Been preaching from the mountaintop about it.
I've been preaching, when there was no evidence there, when there was nothing going on, when I was tying all of this stuff together and speaking about 2017, right?
Yes, I
And
remember that.
the initial activation of these solar cycles and, the Hurricane Harveys and the Me Too with the Harvey Weinsteins and, just explaining how all of this stuff was going to line up and coincide specifically with different time periods. And here we are, all of it has lined up. You know what I'm saying? All of the receipts are produced. Everything that we said has come to pass. And
Yes,
even to the point where they're saying that the Diddler case is tethered to, what I'm saying, the Harvey. And I'm like, have y'all not been listening? Like, yeah, all of that is connected.
oh, that's coming out. They're making a connection.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, they're definitely making that connection
okay.
because they said there was too much similarity in both of their, what I'm saying, the behaviors of
Right.
how they was getting it in. It's like, damn, did one of them teach the other? And I'm like, nigga,
Yeah, we broke something down on the show the other day. We did a little bit of deep dive going all the way back into early Clive when, the feds was on him in the 70s and whatnot. He got fired and he got outed for having a drugola in a payola scandal. And there was a snitch. Somebody turned state and the snitch told the feds about the parties. The snitch told the feds about the parties, and they were doing the same type of activity that they have homie in the feds for back then. And then they were doing drugola. So it's basically they were putting their artists on opiates to pay them instead of giving them cash. They was giving them work and whatnot. So it's not even a secret. But ironically enough, when I was doing some research on Clive, I could not find that on Google. I could not find that on Google. I had to literally put in keywords to find the whole payola thing, but it did not come up on the first search because I was looking for dirt a few months ago and it wasn't there. A lot of people was feeling that sit down that you had with Smart Guy and 19 Keys. I meant to tell you that. I uploaded it to the tube and it's gotten a lot of good feedback. Do you guys plan on having a follow-up conversation on the platform?
we do. Yeah, I was actually building with Keys earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, and we definitely plan on revisiting that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was able to see so many things in that one conversation just based on my research of we in some interesting times, y'all.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Did you see the
We,
movie Blink Twice?
yeah, I believe. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
So Keeper of the Darkness said basically the music industry is exactly like the new movie Blink Twice.
Yeah. You ain't see it?
Not yet. I
Come on.
haven't, yo, bro. I don't do the love. Like I have not
I'm
seen
listening.
movies. The on. I don't have time for none of that stuff. I don't know where y'all be having time to get stuff done. But I have not
Right.
been to the movies. I got a child, so it's not that easy. But I'm gonna make it happen. Who got the movie links? I'm ready to.
I do.
I'm
I'm
ready to
like,
break
nigga,
the. I'm ready to
I'm
break the
like, don't
rules
go
and
to.
whatnot. You feel me?
And the penguin.
I'm looking
Yeah,
up
I ain't
there
plugged in
like, you
like
ain't
that.
going to the
Yeah,
movies.
y'all
Like,
gotta put me on.
this
I'm
is
I
I'm
on
know they got
so
the
TV.
link. Well, let
I'm
me
so old school with it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm so old school.
my pirates.
Yeah.
I saw the conversation. Yeah, we won't. Yo, don't. They come with a Rico.
I'll put myself all the way up.
Yeah, but they come with a
Yeah.
Rico.
You sound like Joe on DJ Vlad. Like, yeah, keep some things to
I'm
yourself,
Ali
fam.
Zoe, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just having a good time. Good time. We just had woo woo. We had the Meech coming home picture soon.
Yeah.
I copped 20, shit. I was watching motherfucking Penguin on the shit, shit. Yo, so
Yeah, that's Zoe
I,
Zoe
I
Kravitz movie.
I was loving that conversation in that video with Keys that you and Blue Dream was having at the end. You feel me? And it had cut because of the time, and y'all
Yeah,
was getting into some real talk. And you brought something up about the sister, Dr. Bryant,
yeah,
Cheyenne, Dr. Cheyenne,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And it made me go ahead and watch that interview because you said what you said. I was like, okay, let me go check that out. I've seen some clips going viral. And I checked it out and I was like, what the fuck is this? Fam? Like, what am I watching? You know what I mean? No disrespect, but I was like, what they just letting anybody get on these channels these days and these platforms. And I picked up a lot of things in that interview that kind of like had me like, huh?
Yeah,
But one of the
I feel
things
you.
that made me go and do some research is I wanted to go and research on this term. I'm gonna bring this term up on the screen, and I want to talk about this real quick because in this climate that we're in, right? In this
Hmm.
climate that we're in, especially with the with this bro movement, with the bros on top, right? With this, I call it the MAGA resonance, MAGA resonance. There's energy resonances and
Yeah.
energy fields.
Hmm.
So we're currently, in my humble opinion, moving towards the MAGA resonance, where that's going to be a very dominant energy and it's going to be in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Very confrontational, very
very
physically in
confrontational,
your
yeah,
face, and
in a
almost like,
choosing type of
yeah,
energy. Like y'all gotta choose. Like
it's gonna be sexual male aggression. Yeah. So it's not only in your face, it's Fally's in your face. Like,
right,
it's gonna be borderline essay where it's gonna be such a thin line that it's gonna be very hard to define because the people that is going to be in charge of your law and order are going to be SA
and
offenders.
say if it right. That listen, the
Idiocracy, nigga.
attorney general comes from Florida bro culture.
Yeah,
Matt Gates is like a fraternity. He had a case with a 17-year-old and a whole bunch of other things. All of these
yeah,
incels from Andrew Tate to the Jakes, the Pauls in them, to the Nick Fuentes, to all of the men going their own way. The passport bros are coming back to America to raise hell amongst the population of the people who they deem as the ops,
the
right?
non-converts, right? The
The
non-converts.
non-converts, right?
They got kissed the ring in the valley. So yeah, it's going to be a very aggressive move towards validating their version of toxic or
Manhood,
yeah, masculinity.
right?
The redeeming, taking the T out of toxic, for the sake of them being men. This is all for the sake of identity, for whoever's listening. Um, yeah, and it is it's gonna be aggressive, you know, if people are not prepared for what it is that they're about to see, because it's gonna be like you said, a cultural shift.
Cultural war,
Yeah, so the cultural war is gonna be like, yo, them niggas is beta. You feel me over there? And in order for alpha dominance, is gonna be expressed through the lens of aggression. You know what I'm saying? So aggression is definitely not on its way back. It's here. It's gonna be amplified aggression.
right? Because you
Is
laid it out, Blue. The science behind the Oval Office, and what that means when the president sits in the Oval Office and how that projects the president's energy, around the globe and whatnot, just based
permeate.
off it permeates. Okay, so we're dealing with a real life version of the penguin, you know what I mean, with Donald Trump and whatnot. Let me just read this definition real quick and get it on the record. Um, am I pronouncing it correctly? Hypergamy or hypergamy?
Mm-hmm.
um, basically dating up or marrying up is a term used in social science for the act or practice of a person dating or marrying a spouse of higher social status or sexual capital than themselves, and continually attempting to replace their current partner with someone they deem superior. Now, this definition blew me away because, literally, okay, hypergamy,
Hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
hypergamy,
Hypergamy.
hypergamy. Okay, hypergamy, guys. Did I do it right?
Mm-hmm.
I need hooked on phonics. You know what I'm saying?
Spell check. Right.
Yeah. I'm getting homeschooled, y'all. I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read the definition, I was like, yo, I needed something to explain because I'm addicted to the balloon popping shows, Arnell and them. Yeah. I started with the 20 V1s and then I went to the balloon popping shows. But there's a trend going on. And even with Dr. Bryan and whatnot, when they asked her what a high level man was, she was like a nigga with a bag.
She fell to
She didn't
pieces.
say,
That I was like, oh shit.
yeah,
I value.
she went beyond the convention, and she.
And then not only it was a two blow process for me to just cut her whole shit in half. When they asked her what a high value man was, she went straight to materialism.
Right.
And then she took the shot at homie. And I was just like,
Corey.
no, not taking
Oh.
it. She shot her she shot her shot at homie that she said had came on stage and made the announcement.
Mm,
I'm like, damn, that was kind of like you let your slip kind of show with that. You
right.
feel me? It sound like you was with the shits regardless. Like you should have did your homework before you got on national TV and explain and expose that to the world. Just to find out that, he's like, yeah, homie is married and stuff. Like you gotta issue an apology to his wiz. You totally jumped out the window with that. Um,
I think she
I mean,
likes Cam
especially if
Newton, bro. She was going hard for Cam, like low key, by tearing down his whiz type shit. Like, what's her name? Jazzy. She was a little too involved. It just was giving cringe. It was like that's not professional at all. I don't know where they giving. What is the Phoenix University,
but
Phoenix Academy?
did you see when Umar read her
I
from a
seen what
distance?
Corey Holcomb read her on the Get Back. It was nasty.
Umar read her from a distance, and she was like, yeah, he was right. I would pay money to see that, like that reality show. Send them on a date together and put the cam
Right.
up.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Cam
Right.
been coming at her for a while though for that interview. He was throwing shots while putting up clips of the interview, so they've been going back and forth at it.
What, her and Cameron Giles?
No, her and Cam Newton.
Oh, I was about
Like
to
while
say,
while
you
he
need
was
to sit that one out.
no no no
Mr. Suck It or Not. I was like, no, don't
this
do
is
it
second or
there.
not.
Because
no
she will, in her previous lifetime, she was discombobulated. She was a mortician because the way she takes people apart, bro, with the words,
yeah,
I'm
she a
talking about she's
psychologist.
cutting joints straight off. Like,
She's a
She's a
psychologist,
psychologist.
but you can
okay,
right. She does not have successful
Really,
relationships herself,
that part.
and yeah, like the stuff that these people is talking about are the things that they have not conquered. They're suffering from the same ailments. It's almost like you know what I'm saying. You not
yes,
happy, shorty, by yourself, sitting up there with all of them degrees, and you can't find a dude. I can tell the way that you talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And then they bundle that in with the whole revival of Jesus is coming to save me. So my Lord and Savior is gonna send a husband for me. Now, when, bitch? Cut
it's
that
a
out.
lot of code word for you want a white man. I mean, I be telling, I'm like, just get cut through it and say that you want TT Boy or one of these people because y'all want y'all a white man. and they trying to intellectualize the conversation, and it's really,
I don't think that's it. I mean, I have not picked that up. You know, the melanated women want the version of a melanated man that doesn't not exist right now, or does not exist in plentiful,
Or doesn't see the
or
value in
does not see the
existing.
value in not only in existing but existing with them per se. So it's the the crop, you know, is so small.
right,
You know, the trimmings are so slim that you're starting to see the culture wars that go from that these women are not going to be equally paired or yoked in their entire lifetime. And there's a lot of intellectualism that's going to go with it. There's going to be a lot of kicking and screaming that's going to go with it. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing that's going to go with it. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of these women sound like they're just a few years from being removed from the conveyor belt of the possibility of being tethered in a relationship that produces a family. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really know, you know, the biological ramifications that come with that signaling. And it's starting to it
right,
show. And I almost feel bad for them because in essence, they, for the most part, they kind of did what was supposed to be done of them when society told them was needed and necessary, but they don't have the companionship, they don't have the coupling on the other side of that. So you're successful at, you know, these areas in life, but then you're not qualifying, you know, the overall overarching traditional roles that our family dynamic may have played. So here we go on the cusp of shifting family dynamics where they could be like, well, your degrees and your accomplishments in corporate is, what does that qualify you as? And I'm not knocking down the institution of feminine upward mobility in workspaces or in our
right.
social dynamic, but to, you know, to be totally exclusionary of being part of a family dynamic.
But then what does that consist of? Because it doesn't really seem like the men have any standards or anything like that for them. It's just like they could be whatever they want to be, whoever they want to be, however they want to be it, and they should still be accepted because, hey, you want a family. So however I come in this, I don't have to commit. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do nothing, not anything.
But yeah, they didn't come from that.
But okay, so these women as well.
These women didn't come from, how many generations of women did these women come from where the women was not like having children, or
They may have
now
had
the
it, but
breakdown
again,
of family structure
what y'all
again.
forget is the same women that you saw having the kids and having the family, they raised these girls. And they raised them
Right.
to not be in those same predicaments. Them women was not happy all the time.
That's what I'm saying. The Pluto and Libra generation that we belong to, these are when late 60s, early 70s, when the family dynamics started changing. And for the very first time, again, the exception was never the rule until it became the rule. And what does that sound like? The exception was you had seeds and you wasn't married, or even if the nigga slid on you, like he was still involved in some degree. Even if he had 2 or 3 households, it wasn't a situation where he was dropping off and just totally disappearing
But
altogether.
that's what's happening
That's
though.
become the rule. Yeah, the exception has become the rule.
So what do you
And
expect
then it
women to
becomes
do with that
culture,
part? Because
right? Hold on.
yeah, go ahead.
It becomes, it sets in as culture, and now it's being replicated, reinforced, and other modems of culture that's telling young men, you know, fuck that hoe. And you know, how does a man look for a wife if you grow up in bitches ain't shit but hoes and trick? That's a mentality
Yeah.
that you walk through the world with. And it's like you're not looking, and then they tell you can't turn a hoe to a housewife. So that excludes the majority of the market that you make. So men have not particularly thought this through, but we found ourselves when we all the way out in the middle of the ocean looking for a life raft in the form of a woman. And she backstroking by herself, or they backstroking together.
Lord have
I feel
mercy.
like
I
Dr.
don't know what
Dre,
that means.
I feel like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg have more accountability. They have not fixed what they broke. You feel me? And
And
they're
they ain't
float.
trying to, nigga. They got a new album
Oh.
coming.
No, but then Snoop Dogg did mention something about he backtracks and he takes back bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. He
But you
did try
can't
to
do
atone for
that.
that.
It's too
The
late
damage is
because
already
yeah,
done.
he saw the damage through his daughter, I believe. Right? He
Right.
wanted different for his baby.
Because none of their daughters came out the way that they expressed the type of woman that they wanted. None of their daughters look like that. Lil Wayne ain't got one light skinned daughter. None of them. None of their daughters look like how they saying every woman should look, act, or be. So
Mm,
you got to think about it a little bit
And they
differently.
want the world to show up different for their daughters.
Yeah,
Wayne want
right.
his daughter to be treated like a princess.
she out here showing the ass. So
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? These niggas respond differently because of their daughters, and they got to change their heart. Like none of Snoop's daughters is part of that algorithm. You feel me?
Right.
So he may have attempted to walk it back, but the damage is done, and
Mm.
them niggas is coming out with a new album. So it's like,
Missionary instead of doggy
yeah,
style.
you can't reverse the curse this late in the game because it's a sedentary psychology is set in, and people have operated from that space. From for the longest, the federal incarceration numbers for women is skyrocketed as a result of like niggas really got to treating them like hoes and tricks, and they responded in due form, and that's what we're left with. You know what I'm saying? The exception has become the rule.
So
They
mhm.
can't reverse it.
and it
In
just
this next
feels
four
like
years, with the focus being on family, with the focus being on some type of conservatism, with the focus being on, the restoration of some type of values, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like black men in particular, right? Especially since this the light the spotlight is on us, right? Do you feel like melanated men or have a possibility of getting their shit together and repairing this broken foundation so these women could now see something in these men to whereas they don't want to pop the balloon?
No.
Damn.
Again, I think that if the winds of culture are gonna blow in the favor of accelerated aggression, right? Masculinity package as male aggression,
Right.
because the women is not going for it with melanated men. They on a 4B shit. So what is Negroes going to do? They're gonna start getting real heavy handed on how they want to be respected in the face of this reset of masculinity where black women is stunting on black men in front of white men. How that what that's supposed to look like? They're already suffering from all of this shit because of their their childhood with their mama. So again, what you it's gonna be more aggression, violent aggression towards women than you've ever seen because they are not willing to acquiesce or kiss the ring to make these boys feel like men. And they're not clever enough to switch up any behavior where they can earn the respect, right? They got to get it out the gate. And then women's gonna be looking for safety and niggas gonna be dangling that shit in front of them to be like, you know what I'm saying? What are you
Right.
willing to do for these favors? It's gonna be ugly, bro.
I think the opposite.
Mm.
She thinks the opposite.
I just have a little bit more optimism because I think we already there. I think, it's already nasty. It's already a gender war. I feel like men is already dangling that protective thing in front of women already because, like I always say, when you leave your woman to deal with all the shit you feel like you can't deal with or you don't want to deal with, she still has to achieve. Like she still has to move through that challenge. So when she moves through that challenge, she evolves. You're not evolving. You're still walking around doing the same shit over and over because you're scared or whatever the reason is that you don't want to pull up to that challenge. So
Right.
women,
So
like any other time, they're learning how to protect themselves. They learning how to fight. They can shoot guns. They wilding out on each other. They violating these niggas anyway. And the same
Right.
thing like the Cam Newton and the Dr. Brian situation, that was a gender war right in your face. He's telling her basically, I can give a fuck about your degrees. They don't matter. You did all this shit trying to make yourself seem valuable and worthy. But at the end of the day, us niggas, we don't give a fuck about that. And then you look at his roster of baby moms, they all strippers and hoes and bitches. He don't want a wife.
Right.
Even the one he's with right now just had a baby with her, and he's saying that he's asking God to give him more kids, like he don't got a girl that just had a baby for him. So it's like,
Right.
in one hand, you telling us that no matter, first you saying if the girls that's like sexy red, they just getting pregnant, they got bullshit ass baby daddies, oh, they don't make good decisions, they don't choose the right men. But the girls who are cautious, who wait to have kids, they get their stability, they get their careers, their degrees. Oh, nobody really cares about that. So which one is it? What do you want us to do? Do you want us, do you want us to, be the sexy
Well,
red, or do you want us to
hold
be
on.
the woman
None
of
of
value
Hold
them.
and
on. Hold
worth,
on. Hold
right?
on. Let me be I don't like to say the word, but let me be the archangel advocate from the Cam Newton's perspective, right? Where he's coming from. Niggas with money,
Right.
with motion, right? So his perspective is, nah, B, y'all could say all of that shit on these podcasts and everything, but I'm outside, I'm in a club, I'm in a strip club, I'm knocking down married women. You feel me? I know what y'all doing. I know this high value shit is code word for you gonna let niggas with bread do what they want to do, because this is what's been going on in the culture for a minute now. And with the
Absolutely.
women with her degrees and everything, they're like, look, we that degree shit don't matter when when you in my section and whatnot, and we talking about sliding.
Because it's still a mating game at the end of the day.
At
Women
the end of
still
the
want
game, it's
men
still a man.
and
Yeah,
men
but
still want women. But what I'm saying is that we both putting each other down because we're afraid of being hurt. So just like, and it happens at like, when you in the hood, a shorty that thinks she too good, now I gotta peck her down a few because she thinks she too, I gotta let her know she's not,
they
niggas
call
do
her
that.
bust
Gotta cut
down.
her
They
down a
got It's
I
called
gotta
a
size.
cut
bust
her down,
down. We got to
cut
bust
her
her
down a
down,
size.
and it's
But the
even
other
more
thing,
colder. It's even more. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut your
yeah, go
wisdom,
ahead, go ahead.
but it's even more colder now because I mean it was going on like that when we were younger, but now from what I've heard, because I'm not, from what I've heard and what the rappers are talking about, they're passing the shorties through the crew. You know what I mean? So that's demoralizing. That's completely devaluing her and demoralizing her to the fact where I don't never have to worry about you talking about a ring. I don't have to
Yeah,
worry about you trying to
I don't
be
have to worry about
wifey
no
and getting out of
responsibilities.
position, because
Right.
we was basically, we was playing tag team when we first met.
Absolutely.
Right. So you know what it is.
You know what it
We're gonna
is.
keep this here.
So
We're gonna
again,
keep this right here.
so then we wrap around back to the values part, because then we have to determine between both of us what's valuable to us as a black woman and then what's valuable to you as the black man. Because like she said, when they spoke about value, she spoke about material, right? Because essentially she's making
It went
money,
in and out. Your
you
mic had
know.
went in and out. Sorry.
I'm out. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can
You
hear
can
you
hear?
now.
Yeah,
Real
going back to the values. So
right.
it's important for us to go back to assessing our values, because like she said, when they spoke about value, she went back to the material. And
Right.
then just like you spoke about Cam Newton and these niggas with money, they see how women act when men have money. And like I've said before, like a lot of the reasons why females love hood niggas is that security factor, or that false sense of security factor. Because at the end of the day, it's a mating game. We're looking for a protector. We're looking for somebody that can provide us and make us feel safe. Can we protect
Right.
ourselves now? Yeah, but do we want to? No.
Right.
I
So
think I can speak for every woman when I say that. But then at the
right.
same time, when we speak about the values and a nigga with money, what happens? Yeah, you got means today, but if you don't got it tomorrow, then are you not a man? What is your values then? What makes you worthy then? And so, from the man's perspective, I hope that where my optimistic or my optimization comes from, my optimistic thinking is that hopefully they determine what, other things that make them valuable, aside from the material wealth that they possess. Because you could be somebody that has means today, but you broke tomorrow. That don't mean that you don't have qualities to get it back. That don't mean
Right.
that you don't have, the mentality or the intellect or the hustle or the drive. To me, those things are the valuable parts. And I hope and I see for the younger generations that they learn different things that make them valuable aside from just getting money.
Right. So
Because that's when yeah, go ahead.
here's the quagmire. When Ocho Cinco, Shannon Sharp, Cam Newton, and other people are talking about women, they're talking to young men that don't have $30 million bonuses. You understand? They're not speaking from the perspective of the majority of men. They're speaking from the perspective of an athlete who's sought after. Women are chasing them. Women are actively hunting these men down to sleep with them daily. Their mentality is, I'm not about to let no woman preach to me about none of that other shit. This money is talking. You know what I'm talking about? This money is talking. Y'all talking like that when the camera's on, but this money is talking, and you know it's talking. So keep all of that fly shit for the internet. We know what happens when we in a room together, whether it's the club, whether it's the strip club. And another thing, because the culture was taken over by strip club culture, which morphed into whole culture, nobody made the distinction. No, hold on.
There.
I'm in Atlanta, right? I was in Atlanta when the culture wasn't whole culture. I was in Atlanta when I used to have to call New York and be like, son, they in the club naked, bro. They was like, what? I was, son, this shit is, I'm in a club eating wings. I'm on a date, fam, in a strip club. Like this culture got exported in the BMF era all around the United States, and then it got exported everywhere. It gave rise to whole culture. What is whole culture? Whole culture is, now I'm going to the club. I'm not paying $40 for a bottle. I'm not paying a buck and change for a bottle. I'm going in the club with a few dollars to pay for some box. And then people are not even leaving the home anymore because of OnlyFans and other things. So it's Uber Skeets. They're ordering women. Okay. So the value of women plummeted during the quote unquote whole culture era. So it's confusing to the average person who's like, how is these people asking for some type of respect and value? Why are they preaching to me when y'all did not make the distinction between who the hell you are and who these hoes are that y'all are emulating? Because at the end of the day, by every woman that I know, majority of them saying, oh, they doing the same faces as the hoes in the picture. They got the same hairs. They got the same, they had the same dress. They doing the same gestures. So it's like, yo, you part of the algorithm. So why are you coming to me about all of this value and all of this ring and all of this stuff when you down with this program?
Because that's what my man said. My man didn't view me as valuable when I was in the house and I was cooking and I was cleaning and I was taking care of the kids and I was being faithful. That wasn't valued.
Right.
You still went out and did whatever the fuck you wanted to do and came home and slapped the shit out of me when I questioned it. Because you felt like you was providing. So if I'm gonna be the good girl and still get treated fucked up, but the hoe don't have no commitment to you, she don't have to cook for you, she don't gotta do nothing but maybe dance for you, show you something, fuck you, she get a nut out of that. And you're gonna give her some money too? Why the hell would she want to be,
Right. So now it's revenge porn because women conformed to that lowly state. They conform to that low frequency.
Yes,
Hold on.
but no. Yes, but no.
All right. So let me throw in the reality show women. Let me throw in all of these women from the Housewives. Let me throw in Love and Hip Hop. Let me throw in Basketball Wives. Let me throw in all of these quote unquote. These are all programs that programmed women over time. I sat back and watched it in households.
And I agree with you on that part, but why I say yes but no is because these are aspects of us that are already within us. We are highly sexual beings. There's a lot of women that you may not think of it. They look at niggas like how you look at bitches. Yo, he look a certain way. I fuck the shit out that nigga. Like,
right.
It's, some of us
those
are
things
not
were never
that
said though. Yeah, we lived in a time when that wasn't said.
exactly.
It was said under your breath. Now it's said on the microphone.
Yeah. Now it's on the loudspeaker because it's like, well, shit, what's the point of holding this down anymore? I was holding this this down out of respect and value for my union, for my marriage or whatever I made a commitment and a vow to. But if the other person that I made a commitment to is not doing the same thing, what the fuck am I gonna keep shrinking myself for? I'm a highly sexual being.
Right.
Y'all sexual too, but when you fuck, you hit a nut and you ready to go to bed. I could still catch 5 more nuts, nigga.
Right.
You feel me? So now, if there's no reason for me, you're not valuing it. Because this is what grandma's telling you. Fuck these niggas, baby girl. Go get your education. You in your 20s, have a good time. Don't fuck just one nigga. Fuck them all.
Right.
When I was your age, I wish I would have done that instead of being with fucking Uncle Ernie, getting on my goddamn nerves every day. And then, you know, your cousin over here bringing over his girlfriend, Uncle Ernie, trying to talk slick to the girlfriend while his wife in the kitchen cooking Thanksgiving like she ain't been with him for the past 30, 60 years. Like, you know, it's shit like that. And I think because you don't really understand the fullness of women, it is confusing because you dictated who women were. We didn't get to dictate it. You told us we needed to be soft. That's just a part of us. Part of us is soft, but part of us is fucking what you seeing.
Right.
It's sexy red. It's bent over twerking. It's the lace fronts, the eyelashes. Every woman wants to feel desirable. Every woman wants to feel sexy. Every
Right.
woman wants to feel wanted. So there's an aspect. That's why these women now, they out here, they freaking out. They don't give a
Right.
fuck no more. Because what
So,
is the
right.
value in me holding this down any longer?
When you change the criteria of what that want is, right? Again, because if they say the woman follows and the man leads, right? Whatever, and this is a mating game. So whatever his what's the word? His preferences are,
Right.
right? She's gonna conform to that because she want to be in proximity to be chosen. Ultimately, she does the choosing, but she gotta be in proximity. She gotta be put in game.
Right.
So we start indulging in what we call the triple Beasley, right? That's niggas looking at porn in the early 2000s, the Brazilian, big butt Brazilians, triple Beasleys, right?
Right.
And the triple butt Brazilian, the big butt Brazilian porn spawns an industry where now you got BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts.
Look,
So
sorry, cut you
the
too.
melanated women can
And
look
there's
more in
men.
proximity, right, to what the man's desires, his scorpionic urge to mate.
But pause, because there's men that be like, we keep telling y'all women that's not what we like. And the women is like, I don't give a fuck. You do like this. I know you like it. You know, so there's that dynamic as well, where it's like we delusional in that sense, where you could sit and tell us this the type of woman we like, but we won't even believe you because of your actions.
And we also live in a world where you will hate what you have to suppress. So because we live in this society where, you know, you still have to hide, some of that shit is still hidden. It still, you know, that's why there's cases of women, you know, who are workers and whatnot being dismembered, and the fetishness is turning into a quote unquote violence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you deal with, especially the Republicans who have to repress, this is the part of the wing of the vulture where they suppress their sexuality because they got the fake Christian values and whatnot, but they're doing the same exact weird things that the fucking liberals and the left people are doing, and what, you know what I mean? But it's more of a suppression. The left is able to wear that shit in the front. They're able to hang it all out. The right is suppression, is hidden. You know what I'm talking about?
That's why I told you that the level of aggression is going to increase
Of course.
because of the suppression and because of the dark psychology, right? The level of narcissism where they're not being stroked, they're not being catered to, they're not being, you know, made to feel a particular way. They're gonna respond very aggressively, potentially violently, because of
Right.
that level of sexual suppression. And like you said, they're gonna wave the flag of Christian values, but you already see, again, it's a felon first admin. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gotta, like, you gotta have F's on your jacket. You gotta have essays in order to be part of this clique. They're gonna jump you in like they did RFK on the plane with the McDonald's. They're gonna make you touch a fatty. They're gonna make you do
They be like, yo,
something.
eat the consonant the Big Mac, nigga.
Yeah,
Come on. See what
you're
you
gonna
got
be
with
in
us.
the FO with them. Like they're gonna take it to McMahon status.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Ugly.
crazy. That's crazy. I was about to say something and it just slipped my mind. But very good conversation, y'all. Blue Dream, I really appreciate you for your transparency and being the voice of the
I
divine
appreciate you too,
feminine
brother.
He the
and not
voice.
being, because we coming with it. I don't want you to feel no type of way, but you from BK, so we already know what it is.
No,
You know what I mean?
I appreciate the male perspective because that's not something we were always privy to as women. So
We're trying to right. We're
I
trying to
really
be
appreciate
as open and as
it.
transparent as possible, so we could get to the bottom of some of these things. They want to know what your IG is. You feel me?
The Blue Dream _
The Blue Dream _
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Yes, yes. You know what I mean? Um, I did want to ask a question. Where does all of this that we've been speaking of, right? Where does it put, because they say the spoils of the war is the woman, right? So now that we're in this quote unquote pro Trump era that we're in and whatnot, how many Candace Owens do you see
Ooh.
being created in this environment where melanated women are going to practically basically be like, I'm going to go where the power is, right? I'm going to go where the perceived power is, not the real power, but the perceived power, you know what I'm saying? And begin to opt out and be a part of the divestment movement and start going over to the other side
Mm,
from your perspective.
I don't know. If I'm being very honest, I really don't know. Uh, maybe older women, maybe the newer, the like the Gen Alphas. Maybe eventually they are because they so open minded. But I still feel like my generation, millennials, Gen X. I still feel like they got hope for y'all. They'll ride it out with they black men to the end, in my opinion.
Okay, I remember what I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Amber Rose
Oh
for the
Lord.
right. No, you laughing. Amber Rose was a woosah, one of the smartest things that they did for incels by bringing her out. You understand? Amber Rose meant subconsciously for that whole legion of these Republican right wingers and whatnot. She's going to bring them that type of attention like Blue was talking about. You know what I mean? Remember, their whole thing is about procreation. Their whole thing is about they need some box. They're like, yo, we over here dry, bro. Like our
Mhm.
women are not rocking with us like that. We need a new group of women, or we need our women to wake up and get on board with it. You feel me? That's their whole thing. Family,
Mm.
procreation, reproduction. You know what I mean? Men and women, male and female. That's what they're pushing. So Amber Rose, even with her slut walk activities and everything, she's still representing that feminine energy of, a woman in her movement that's going to conform to their
Ain't that
needs.
some shit? I gotta give them a round of applause for utilizing the hoe in that way because she was the stripper that got up there and gave a speech, and they had Megan, who was the college graduate, up there twerking. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah, you see
Um,
how that shit twists? You see
that
how
shit
it
was
goes
crazy.
upside down?
That shit was some real upside down shit. But I mean, when you put it that way, I could understand that, and I would say black men, you better get it together in a sense where you better figure out what the fuck a man is and be that ASAP because I can see, because there's already a trend, the black girlfriend effect on TikTok. These black girls getting with these white dudes and giving them sauce.
Yeah, and blossing them up,
Um,
glossing them up.
but the more you create this divide between each other of I don't need you, I really don't need you, this version is better, that version is better. I can see women going over to the other side just for the simple fact is I just want to be loved. I want somebody that actually cares about their family and their home. But like I said, at the same time, I think maybe millennials, Gen X might do their best to try to stick with the black man. But I could probably see like the Gen Alphas leaning more towards alternative.
What age group is the Gen Alphas? I'm sorry.
they're like, how old would they be? Maybe like the teens, the ones that are still teens right now, that'll be going into their 20s soon. But yeah, like the teenagers now, that's like the Gen Alphas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could see them being a little bit more fluid, open. Just they'll like at that point they'll be in group relationships, like,
Right. Right.
But for the most part, I think I still see like black women want black men, and I think black men want black women. They just want it to be a certain way. And again, like Blue and you were saying, the culture has done a number, but I believe that people are being more, what's the word? I don't know, like more mentally independent. The media is not having as much as an effect on them as it used to. They're
Social
starting to
media
think
is.
social media, yeah, but I
That's
don't
it.
think
That's
the
me.
media.
The word media is in there.
I agree, but at the same time, people are realizing the effects that social media does have. You
Right.
could be on social media and it's like, oh my God, everybody's doing this, everybody's saying this, but you go outside and it's not the same thing. So I think that people are starting to see the difference in how, oh, maybe social media is really getting, convoluted or whatever. And the fact that they're receiving so much information about things that they weren't before. They know that it's not 100% real, but it does give credence to the people who may feel invisible in real life.
Destiny said the white man lets black women be in an alpha energy. He's
Because they
okay
know who
with
you
being
are. But don't get that shit twisted, because it's not about you, it's about them. So
right.
it's gonna be, it's up to your own discretion. But don't go over there just because you so mad at the black man and you want to prove a point. Same way like black men try to, break us down by telling us, oh, other women from other cultures don't do X, Y, and Z. And it's like at the end of the day, you still trying to get to my emotions, just like I'm trying to get to yours, which means I still care about you.
Right. Right. We
So
all need healing and
yeah,
understanding and patience with each other. It's that precise.
absolutely.
So, with knowing all of this, right? What angle would you say? And this is a loaded question. Like, what angle would you say would a healthy dating show be to kind of like assist in the healing process, not necessarily letting people hook up for the sense of just hooking up. Like I envision a dating show that's also dealing with healing and a stronger type of bond than just popping a balloon and saying, yeah, I like her because she made my little man jump. You know what I mean? W- I,
Facts.
I don't know if you have that answer, but I'm just throwing it out there. Like, do you know?
I don't know if I have that answer either, but I would say something that's based on, values and helping people to kind of determine what their values are. Yeah, let me say values and self-gnosis. So I don't know how you can incorporate those things in a dating show, but that should be the premise of dating and relationships, period, especially at a certain big age. It should be about your values and yourself as well. Because I'm a believer that you meet yourself and whoever you choose to be with intimately, don't matter for how long. But if you chose that person to be intimate and close with, there's some kind of similarity there, maybe something about yourself that you need to see and vice versa. So if you know something about yourself and what you value, I would see a show that incorporates those things and see how people's values, you know,
Align.
align. Yeah.
My question. Do you think that it's healthy for two people courting one another to try plant-based medicines together if they want to deal with healing
I do.
before?
It depends on the person. And I would think that's something that you do after you get a good grip on somebody, or you've been around them for a little while. Because as we've seen, some people don't take plant medicine too.
Yeah, wig out.
So if you did do
The
that, like if
wigging
you
kid.
incorporated that on the show, on a dating show, I would think um, that you would have like a trip sitter there that could kind of
Oh, for
help.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. But again, it just depends on the personality type.
Yeah.
Some people are not willing to see themselves yet. Some people are, like you say, suppressing things. And while that may be a good way of like getting to know the truth, it could be like a shocker. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you wig out before we smack, you know what I'm saying? I ain't fucking with you. Like I'm like, I dodged that bullet. She
touche,
turned into, you know what I
touche.
mean? She
But
turned
I
into
believe
goddamn
that
Big
shit
Bird
that
on
you
me.
see before you hit the plant medicine, right? You just that goes back to knowing yourself, you know, and trusting your discernment. Because people show them, you see shit, you just
Nah,
be like, nah, I don't want to see it right now because I'm
yeah,
really digging.
nah. I got glaucoma. I can't see it. You know what I mean?
Niggas
Be in
be like,
denial. You be in
come on,
denial.
red, you don't see the red flag.
You know, see
Like,
the
was she
red
just chewing on
flag.
the spoon? What the fuck? She giving the
Yo,
Mike Tyson glove chew. Like,
Hey,
you all
yo,
right,
man, I
ma?
said,
You in for
facts.
dessert?
you ain't see the red flags.
You ain't see the flag, son?
I'm not mad
No.
at the plant medicine thing though. Shit.
Because, you know, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Some people, men and women, are fooled by their desires or the stimuli.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's why
You
the value
dig?
is important.
Yeah. Some people just lead with that. And it's like, you know, they let that shit cloud it becomes cloudy because of, you know, nah, he's bald headed, heavy melanin, or nah, she got the bubble, you know what I mean? And with the great smile type shit. I'm going to excuse a few of these flags.
Yeah, and that's what you get every time. Same thing with the females with money, you know, and the men with money. You want the man with money, but you're not focused on character, you're not focused on value. So you get the man with money and he turns out to be what you get. You know, I ain't gonna
What
name
what if we do a dating show with chastity belts?
yo. Yo, you wildin'.
No, dead ass. Like we just
Yo,
put some real shit, just lock that shit down,
Yeah.
type shit, and
lock that
you
shit
could
down.
get
Yeah,
a
connected to
bathroom
chat.
break, huh?
All these
Yeah.
people that know how to bobby pin shit
Yeah,
open.
she
Yo,
on.
there's people walking around with goddamn ankle monitors on.
Yo.
We can have a monitor. You know how they got like a Fitbit? Yeah, yeah. Like if you have a, you know what I'm talking
We
about?
You got to
If you
pass
get
all these
aroused and
questions
whatnot,
through
that
Chat
should go off,
GPT. Yeah.
huh?
You got to pass these set of questions through Chat GPT.
Type
Yeah.
shit.
Build it into your smart contract. Yeah,
It
shit.
would be like one of those island type of things where we would go away for about a month. You know, you got to put people together for a long amount of time. And it's like, you know, you just have to make sure that there's no sexual contacts. Of course, there's going to be attraction. Of course, there's going to be stimuli. Of course, people are going to be, you know, but I'm talking about let's begin a top-down approach. Top-down approach is we're coming from the blue chakra, the crown chakra, and then by the time we touch to the root chakra, then we can make that commitment or that bond and whatnot. By the time we get past the heart and everything, we locked in. I know if I'm rocking with you or not. You know what I mean? This is how
Mhm.
love could mature.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, what happens if they don't like, you know, they get through all of that and then they finally have intercourse and it's not hitting.
Well, you know, that will fall in the category where they like, yo, it's not the whole relationship is not sexual based, and it don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, now I'm just
They gonna
saying,
put a nigga
it's
in a
women
friend
out
zone
here.
after that? What?
I
Look,
have to
you
add
have
another one to the roster to make up. Let me
you
run
got
that
pro
game back,
shrimp women
brother
out
Ray.
here. Not
I mean, I like this one. He could stay. I just need to find another. I'm just playing, y'all. I kid. I kid.
you
I
feel
kid.
me?
I kiki. I kid.
But it needs to happen. We need a date and show. I just
Yeah.
don't want to create something that is not going to be answering the multitude of questions. I feel like the dating shows that are popping up for the lower frequency that they represent, they're doing what they need to do. But where's the dating show for the higher
Yeah.
frequency beings? Where's the dating show where the men are lining up and you don't have to hum a stun and talk about just no, they could speak freely about spirituality and the sisters.
Right.
They could speak freely about being vegan. They can speak freely about, you know, not
Yeah, I
working for
mean
the man and being
the Hotep dating show is the next thing up, and whoever figures that format out, they're gonna win. You know what I mean?
I just
They're
think
gonna win.
pre-show, you give everybody a survey or something to fill out, what's their values, what they're looking for, and then you can play alignment that way. And then you can see, are those really your values? Is there something else you want to add to those values based off your experience that you've
Right.
had with the.
And I would use the astrological edge. If you get that
Oh, that's
level
a
of
good one.
data, you can see what a person's chart compatibility is.
Chart
And
compatibility, yeah.
that could register like, yo, you got a 9 on chart compatibility. I would say that
right.
you know what I mean? That we see that there's cosmic synergy here.
What's the
You
apps that
feel
all the
me?
wizards be using? It's about 3 of them. Wait, let me look at my phone. I got
Yeah.
they got the apps. They got the apps. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They got the apps.
compatibility.
They got the compatibility apps. It's a whole bundle. You know what I mean? It's the Hotep starter pack. They got the Hotep starter pack.
What
I don't have.
what
on me
apps you
on.
need?
I want to see our compatibility.
You could Google that shit,
That's what
nigga.
I've been doing, but if they got an
You
app,
could
I
go
want to know
you could go to Cafe Astrology and see
I go to
that.
Astro
Nah, Cafe Astrology.
You
Nah,
talk
you
you
punching
talking
I
down.
go
That's
to
some
Astro
nah.
Seek, but
Cafe
hold on, you
Astrology.
fucking
sometimes the
chain
apps be
fella up,
giving
nigga.
you
That's some
more.
baby shit, man.
The
We
apps be
passed
giving you
that.
more like thorough breakdowns and explanations. I'm
My
not a
chain fell
master
off, nigga.
astrologist
Okay.
yet. I'm still learning.
Google
So.
that shit. What we doing?
Wow, relax. We had an aura reading. Our auras was matching. Okay.
They could do a chart reading.
I
They
want
could
to
do
see
the
the chart.
thing.
I want to
They
see the
could do
it's synastry, right?
Yeah, Sinistry.
I want to
synastry.
see our synastry.
Yeah, what's the site, nigga? You done brought the shit up.
Why you mad?
I'm trying to see. I thought it was on my phone. I had a few of them on my phone, but you know when your memory go crazy, you gotta delete a whole bunch of apps. They might have got a sacrifice.
Mhm.
But I have a brother out of the UK, right? And this brother has put together one of the illest apps I've ever seen in my life in terms of compatibility on 12 planes. It
Okay.
throws all that shit away. It completely destroys. It's not a dating app. It's a know thyself app. I mean, god damn it. I'm gonna bring him on the show. I'm not gonna even talk. I'm gonna bring him on the show, but we need some shit like that,
All right. Well, if it exists, then
because we done burnt up Cafe Astrology and them other ones. Like, we dragged that. That's old for me. We need more advancement, you know. But it's that time. I really appreciate y'all for y'all build, man. It was
oh
a
yeah.
Appreciate you.
yeah, it was an excellent build. You the voice right now.
Appreciate
Blue
Voice. You the
Dreams. Thank you
voice.
for stepping up and because we it could have been heavy testosterone tonight,
You the voice
and
of
it's
reason.
it's very much balanced and whatnot.
I appreciate the
Mm.
melanated testosterone. Don't get it twisted. I
You
love
came in here swinging like Shorty that was out there busting eyes up the other night.
it. Listen, I got a rep for my sisters out
You got a
here.
rep for your
I got a
sisters.
rep for my
We gonna do a panel. We'll do a part 2. I wanna bring a few people in this thing. You know what I mean? Because I want healing. I want some healing to take place. I want my sisters to be in love.
Yeah, me too.
I want
I
my
want it for
brothers to
them.
be in love.
I want it for them.
I want it for
I
them.
want it for them.
I want it for them.
And
I
the men
want that for
too.
y'all. Real talk. Cause I promise you, that shit is the best feeling that you can have in this earthly existence that doesn't have a lot of rewards to it. But one of the greatest rewards in this experience while you trekking through this bitch is to have your heart filled with love, to have that heart chakra opened up and whatnot. It heals. It's a magnet. It attracts butterflies and birds and shit. You know what I mean? You can manifest easier with it. It's easy on the mind. It makes you want to go and bury hatchets from years ago and all kind of stuff.
Yes,
And then not to
Healing.
it's
mention,
Yeah.
healing.
It's healing.
and it's
Mark
healing, and
said,
not
you
to
got
mention,
somebody who got you.
Right. And it is the sliding board.
Damn, G.
Damn,
It is the
Jesus.
sliding board for the star seeds to come in on.
Facts.
Damn,
That's what they
Gina.
silver surf on. You feel me? That's what brings those star seeds up into
Ain't
this
nothing like
dimension
a
and
star
whatnot.
seed born from love.
Ain't nothing
Facts.
like it, you know. And again, if this era and this epoch is about restoring family value or just restoring the family or rebuilding the melanated brand, you know, it's gonna be these star seeds, it's gonna be these babies that's born as a result of this love revolution. When we figure out that all we got is us and that's all we ever needed, and all of this unnecessariness, you know, was attempting to see the majesticness in ourselves through somebody else's eyes. It was never
Mm,
going to work.
mm-hmm.
What are the things about us to make us restorative? You feel me?
Super
We go
fact.
together. Yeah, we go together perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when a woman was supporting that man to get outside and get out there and do the impossible, you feel me, and make it happen, the shit was working.
Bring the bacon home.
Yeah,
Hey,
we need to get back to that. You know what I mean?
we made it through worse
We've
times.
made it through worst time. Yeah. So for the sake of family, for the sake of these babies and these star seeds, you know what I'm saying? We need to
Yo,
get to this healing. Hold on, because the challenge of our lifetime, the challenge of the present day is Chiron, right?
Mm.
Chiron is the wounded healer. And that's the epoch. That's what we're going through, you know, healing the wounded healer so that healed wounded healer can get to the business of healing.
mm, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hypothetical question, Blue. What if we were to secure like some farmland and whatnot? You know what I mean? Maybe 3 or 4 acres, and then we just raised up gods like livestock,
Mm. What a dream.
Yeah.
and then we could have like we could invite the goddesses, the queens, to come and admire the stock. Take like 6 months or a year and raise boys to men on some real strict military. We waking up 3, 4, doing the workouts. You know what I mean? We meditating, we getting our health together, we grounding, we sun gazing. There's no phones, no pornography, no fapping. You know what I mean? None of that shit. You got on the
They
fit
need that.
bracelet. You know what I
They need
mean?
that.
You know what I mean? You getting your training on, you learning how to shoot, and we get into the bread. You know what I mean? We learning trades and skills type of team.
Yeah, it sounds good, you know, and that's what's needed. So if it can be done
If
and
it can be
executed,
done.
you know what I mean? We're in desperate need of it. We just got to get to the business of business at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think we halfway there. Niggas is out here wearing chaps and cowboy hats, and that's back. You brought that back, right?
Oh Lord. Don't do my baby like that. Don't do him like that, okay?
Nah, because I don't like what Beyonce is out here doing, trying to
Blue,
take my niggas
blue.
whole swag type shit, man. Blue was bringing that back.
He really was.
Yeah,
Cowboy.
Woody type shit. Not
Cowboy.
YSL, Toy Story.
Yeah. Don't
I
do
mean,
him.
you know, we on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do with our eyes closed. So
That part.
Trendsetter.
we're gonna make black love the fashion trend. We're gonna make black excellence, you know what I'm saying, the thing again. And let them follow that. You know
That
what I
part.
mean? Let them
Right,
follow
that
that.
part.
That part.
We're gonna
That part.
make marrying these melanated women, you know,
The
that's
shit.
gonna be the masculine shit. That's gonna be the flex. It's like, did you marry her though? You know, how big was your wedding? You feel
Right.
me? Like, did you go all out? Did you let these white supremacists see how you
Nigerian
value
style,
value these
Yeah. Shout out
melanated
to Jeff
women?
Jones, Nigerian style with
Yeah,
the money gun. The
yeah,
brrr.
with the
cause
money.
You
you know,
feel
yeah,
me?
that's the shit. You know what I mean? Like, in the face of white supremacy or white fragility, however you want to identify it. You know what I mean? The most radical thing that we can do right now is get back to family. You know, and again, not to knock what anybody else's definition of it is, but the traditional melanated family, that man and that woman bringing forward that star seed, you know, again, if it's within your wherewithal, let's prioritize that first before we start getting all fluid and want to do remixes and shit like that. Like let's attempt to bring that back,
That
you
part.
know, because there's more than enough melanated women that are available, you know, for coupling and pairing and for you niggas to get your shit together so you can step to the plate and get chose. You feel me?
Yes, yes.
And don't be part of that that orchestra that's gonna get louder and louder with these men that are sexually frustrated and specifically, unfortunately, these melanated men who feel less than and intimidated by the forwardness of these melanated women who figure some things out of necessity for themselves, and then no language, no song was ever made that explained to them how to communicate with this particular stock of woman. So they're learning in chat rooms, they're learning from other incels, they're learning
Being
from,
radicalized.
yeah, they're being radicalized from white boys that cannot deal with sisters on a worst day, let alone ones that are confident, you know what I'm saying, in their person and their being and their accomplishments because they're flexing that they have defeated some aspect of white supremacy. You know what I mean? And the
Yes.
shit that they seen their brothers, uncles, fathers, and grandfathers, you know, fall at the 1 yard line. They ain't get the touchdown. And some of these women have picked the ball up and then stepped over that end zone and they got the touchdown. And rather than celebrating them, we throwing eggs at them. Oh, nigga, who you think you are?
Mm.
Like we both supposed to be failures on the battlefield. Like if she got up in there and she did her thing and she turned it out, you know what I'm saying, out of respect. And then you allowed them to turn around and say that it was DEI. And it's like, nah, that sister worked for that.
You feel me?
That sister bust her ass. She worked for that when you
She
said that
was
it was
she was
impossible.
double better than
Yeah,
everybody. Two times.
she jumped over all of y'all and dunked on you. You know what I'm saying? You gonna put some respect on her name. And I will, if nothing else, you know, I just want to see melanated men, you know, stepping up, saying, put some respect on her name. Don't get her fucked up with this other thing that y'all just seen. You know, don't get her fucked up with them entertainers dudes on stage on the Kamala shit. That's not who our women are. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That might be who they fuck with in their pastime, but that's not who they are
In totality.
in
Right.
totality. So the advocacy for her good name, you know what I'm saying, needs to be returned and restored. Because, like I said, we're gonna see an aggressive administration come in, and if homie makes his policy to go against, you know, the people who are adversarial towards him, they're gonna attempt to make a lot of examples out of melanated women because they're the ones that was giving him crow.
Right.
They the ones that felt like there was a threat that they needed to respond to, and they responded in due form. Whether they was doing hatchet jobs for a political party or not, you know, that's secondary to the fact that they were the pit bulls off the leash who they was like sick them and they sick them.
Mm.
So they deserve a layer of protection. They deserve our respect, and I just see that they're being abandoned. You know, and that's just a bad policy when any contingency of people refuse to defend their women in public. That's
Mm.
just it's a bad outcome that comes from that, and that the history that's never gonna change. So
Right.
we got some things to figure out, and it's messy, it's ugly, because there's so many things in the way.
I saw the first sign of that. I saw the first sign of that. Fresh and Fit, right?
Mm.
Which is
Mhm.
part of the bro verse. It's part of this
Mm.
whole men going their own way, you know, Myron and the other dude. There
Mm.
was a heavily melanated sister who was on the show that got into an argument with the host, and he kicked her off the show. And then on the way out, she got jumped by two I think they were Latinas and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically stood there, didn't do anything to help the sister. This is a melanated man who didn't help a sister who was being assaulted and whatnot. And just symbolically speaking, you know, it just was like, damn, is that something that we have to look forward to seeing moving forward with these lames and whatnot? Because he's an incel. You know
That's
what I
all I've
mean?
been seeing, right?
Yeah. So um don't go where you're not appreciated, first and foremost. Don't even go where you're tolerated, especially in this new era that we're in. Do not go into these traps. Don't go on these platforms where people are clearly branded, not aspirational masculinity, but toxic masculinity. You feel me? To go viral. Do not be someone's clickbait, because
Mm,
if you're just a talent and you're not management, you'll never be above that. Okay? You don't call the shots. You just the help, in so many other words. So don't
mm-hmm.
be the help.
Yeah, but look, yeah, we
I
past
know.
my bedtime, so
Indeed. I'm gonna just leave it on that note as maybe a somber statement, but it's a real statement, you know, because we got to all be responsible for one another. But before that even happens, we have to
no,
be
no, no. Yeah, you gotta be
individually
responsible for
responsible
your
for
goddamn
yourself,
self. Yeah,
right?
you
For
gotta be
yourself.
responsible for yourself right now.
Facts.
Hit the link in the bio, family. We have some amazing information to share in this upcoming election on the 22nd. All right.
Yes, we
Yeah.
definitely do. All right. Solar
Yeah.
Cycle 25.
And that ebook, we got that ebook out. You know what I'm saying? Gold Body Challenge.
Is it possible if we could throw the book in for the whoever gets a ticket tonight? I'm not going to stretch it too far because I know that you just put that book out. But if for the people who get the ticket tonight for Solar Cycle 25, the bundle ticket, could we throw that book in there for them?
For tonight, yeah.
Okay, so y'all heard it right here. You seen it. You seen I had to twist that man's arm and whatnot. Let us be very supportive of what it is that me and this good brother's doing. We have an event coming up on Friday. All right. It is on Zoom only. Okay. Because there's certain things that we cannot talk about on YouTube. And for my Patreons, Rainbow Opals and up, you know that this is going to be part of your monthly membership. Everyone else, the tickets are in the description, and our mods will drop the link. So with that being said, and you will also receive a ticket along with these perks. You get yourself a t-shirt and a book. That's tonight only. Thank you to the family. This is an early show, so you guys get to rock out all night. I appreciate you, Blue and Blue Dreams. Love and light to y'all, and we will connect very soon, very soon.
Ashe.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Yes, Ashe.
To the family, peace, love, and light, y'all. Appreciate you. See
Yes,
y'all on Friday. See you on Thursday for the warm up. I'll see you on Friday for the show.
yes, indeed. All right. For the family in the building, peace, love, and light. This is our show for tonight. This is Melanin Mondays. So, you know, we will this is the show. I want to thank everybody. This was gonna be like a 30-minute IG live, but it turned into 2 hours and 30 minutes. The conversation was definitely worthy. It was healthy. Make sure you go back and rewind it a little bit, do a little bit of research and come up with your, come up with some theories. And the Discord is open though. We'll be in the Discord rocking tonight. So we might even have a watch party and some other things. So the link for the Discord, let me drop that real quick. The Discord is popping. I believe when we hit 4,000, we're almost at 4,000. When we hit 4,000, then we're going to be doing some new things on it. You know what I mean? Like we're really going to turn it up. So let me see what the membership is looking. Let me see. Let me read the numbers. Let me see what we got. We're at 3,826. 3,826. So let's pull that to 4,000. The link is right here. It's free to join. It costs you nothing. You know what I mean? All you got to do is be a part of it. This is so we could build up our community on KTL. And also for my people who are about to be investors and know the hedge, the email Yeah, I've gotten emails and whatnot. If you're ready to go, okay, if you're ready to go, send me the email. I'm gonna drop the email right here. Let me see. This is the email that you can hit me at. Send me an email for the Know the Hedge, and we will send you the link. We're going to be signing up and onboarding people mañana. It's going to be early. It's going to be mañana. Okay? It's going to be mañana, early in the daytime. So, with that being said, peace, love, and light to the family. You done know. Burge.
Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Facts. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red and blue, purple light, friends. Facts. Get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we're stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.